one so far, so maybe that does mean he's going to stay on beyond this week. And there's an outfielder at point as well in front of that grandstand. McIlroy has got northeast in the slips, or the slip. McIlroy bowls and Millet drives to mid-on, goes through for a quick single as a shy at the stumps, but it misses, one without loss.
Looked like he was gone to me.
I think he would have been a director, definitely would have been out here. Quick scramble, nice straight shot to mid-on, yeah, short of his ground by some distance there. Fortunate for Kent, but they're up and running.
Yeah, Ul Hassan was the fielder, but couldn't strike the stumps from around about a 40-degree angle. Here is McIlroy then running towards us to bowl to Bell Drummond, who drives into the offside but has hit it straight at Kieran Carlson at cover, and there's no run.
So with the balance of these two sides, you're expecting it to be a fairly slow wicket then, do you think? Not coming off the bat particularly quick?
It's interesting. Nick went down for the toss, have a look at the wicket, and came back with no information whatsoever for us to talk about. But from where
showed you a picture of it. What do you want?
From this distance, there's a bit of a green tinge to it.
Here's McIlroy to Bell Drummond, who hits that one through the offside, but to the sweeper, Billy Root, out in front of the grandstand away to our right, and the grandstand's filled up respectably. It's not used for championship matches, so it's nice to see it reasonably full, but still room for latecomers to find plenty of space. 2 without loss, Kent, in this first over. 4 balls gone. McIlroy to Millet, and he flirts with that one outside the off stump and doesn't get anything on it. Across the face of the right-hander from the left arm seamer. Played quite a bit of minor counties, national counties cricket. He's from the Bilth-Wells area and coming into the Glamorgan squad in his late 20s, but has made a reasonable impact.
I think that was going to happen with the green tinge on the wicket. With this new white ball, I think he'll nip around slightly, but I think underneath it does look dry. It reflects in the selection with the spinners.
McIlroy bowls and beats Millet again outside the off stump, so first over gone, 2 without loss, Kent.
I was going to say, when Millet makes contact, you certainly know about it. He's looks a precocious talent, I have to say, but just hasn't quite grown into his game yet in terms of pacing innings, perhaps. But looks like a sensational star of the future in the making. But there, as you say, was just reaching outside the off stump, wasn't there? So the ball moving around a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a green tinge, as I said. I just think that ball, will, that green will grip the seam and just get a little bit of movement early on in this this form of cricket.
So it looks like Al Hussain is going to bowl from this end. Commentary box end here.
Cathedral Road.
Thank you very much. Should know that, shouldn't I? So Zain Ul Hassan came through Worcestershire's academy, is that right? And
yeah, he trialled at half a dozen different second 11s over the last couple of years.
It comes now to start over the wicket, right arm cut away by Bell Drummond. Good fielding at gully, in fact, stops it going for a boundary. Fielder inside the circle, a diving stop to his left, but they'll come through for a single. Still yet to be a boundary in this innings yet. 2 for none off the first over, but yeah, good stop, wasn't it, at gully?
Yeah, good stop. Bell Drummond loves a bit of width, always has done. He's been great for Kent over the years, but he doesn't need any more than invite any width to latch onto.
So Tawanda Millet facing now. That slip still in, Sam northeast. That's a long way down the leg side, and that will be the easiest wide I think the umpire will give for some years.
He's looking at his footmarks there. It's just standard behaviour from a seamer. If those are wide, scratch the footmarks. He's not very happy. But in all honesty, he's probably slipped there. Again, slight green tinge on the footmarks as well as down the wicket, and possibly slipping on his delivery. And went in way down leg side for a wide.
Absolutely no sympathy for the bowler from the former batsman, Mike Powell there.
None.
Knows all the tricks. So Al Hassan goes back to his mark now. Scampers in. Flattish delivery. It's up in the air, over mid off, and that will go for 6.
What
a shot that was.
What a shot.
That's quite a pick-up indeed, and dispatched.
I think that's the word, dispatched, isn't it? It was nothing more than he's just leant on the ball, but he's middled that, and that's probably another 6-7 foot over the boundary of a long off. Beautiful shot.
As I was saying, when this lad makes contact, he really does indeed.
Strong, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely shot off the middle of the bat there. A little bit deceptive the angle we're at. I've wondered if it's going to bounce for 4, but not a bit of it. Faces again now. Forward delivery, it's just popped up maybe off a leading edge over the bowler. No chance for Al Hassan. He needs to be a foot taller to get anywhere near that one, but he is safe, Muyeye. So single taken off that one, but that 6 really was something.
Beautiful shot. I think the difference in the previous shot, that he just tried to work that to the leg side, probably too far outside off stump, and ended up getting a top edge over the bowler for a single.
All by judgment, but 11 for none. That's quite often the way with T20 cricket, isn't it? Al Hassan now bundling in to Bell Drummond, cuts that away once again. Loves the cut, hands through it quickly, but all the way out to the offside boundary. Fielder placed for that very shot. McIlroy throws back in, and they take a single once again. Al Hassan is scratching at his foot marks at the crease.
He's not happy there, is he? A little bit indifferent, a little bit of width. A little bit in different length as well.
12 for none. 2 balls to come of this second over here on BBC Wales, BBC Radio Kent. Zain Al Hassan comes in, and that's up in the air and over mid-wicket. 1 bounce, 2 bounces for 4, or maybe 3 actually. But Daniel Bell Drummond, Tuanda Muyeye has once again made good contact with that and has lifted that over mid-wicket. And that one has gone 4 runs.
It wasn't that short, just slightly back of length. Muyeye's got on that so quickly, which produced a change in the field. They brought deep point inside the circle, and it looks like northeast. He was at mid-wicket inside the circle, has gone out to deep mid-wicket. So we've got a deep square and a deep mid-wicket.
Yeah, very convincing indeed from Muyeye. Here's Sam once again, but that's less so. Almost cut him in half. It's followed him down the leg side, about waist high. He hasn't managed to get a bat on that. Good finish from the bowler, but 14 off the over. Muyeye hitting a massive 6 and a 4 over mid-wicket during that one. He has 12. Bell Drummond has 3. Kent Spitfires 16 for none off 2.
Al Hassan, there was a nice little bit of bowling there. Muyeye trying to give himself a little bit of room just to manipulate the offside field. All fields up inside the inner circle, so any sort of gap there would have raced away for a boundary. So you understand what the batsman doing, but a smart bit of bowling.
So it'll be McIlroy again, as Glamorgan this season have gone principally seam in the power play overs, where they've bowled quite a bit of spin in the past. As McIlroy bowls, and that's flayed through the offside by Bell Drummond, but picking out route on the point boundary. We have a new white ball coach here this season in Mark Lane, the former Gloucestershire favourite who played for England as well. And Glamorgan, rather surprisingly, leaving Andrew Solskjaer out of consideration at the moment. Well, I'm sure he was considered, but he's not in the squad. Prem Sisodia and Peter Hatzoglu plays, so we'll see plenty of spin. McIlroy bowls, and Muyeye plays that one on the leg side, and there's no run. But Glamorgan just feel that without David Lloyd as an option, Mike, they're a little bit light on bowling. There are not many backup options there.
Yeah, he leaves quite a large hole, David Lloyd, because not only is he a very good fielder, he's obviously a very good batsman because that's his number one skill, but he is a useful seam bowler who bowls wicket to wicket here at Cardiff. He's very, very successful. So yeah, he leaves a big gap.
17 for naught as McIlroy bowls, and Muyeye has a swing at that. That was rather an ugly affair, and through it goes to Chris Cook.
Yes, difficult to pull. As a right-handed batsman, it's difficult to pull the ball coming across you. As a left-armer being pushed, you always feel a little bit that the ball's always travelling away rather than coming into your body so you can catch up with it. So yeah, difficult shot, but you can understand why with just 2 fielders out of the inner circle within the power play.
Glorious sunshine, floodlights full on. McIlroy to Muyeye, who runs that one down to short third man, but straight to Prem Sisodia on the edge of the circle, and they just take the single. 18 without loss. So yeah, the main grandstand is respectably populated, but I think Glamorgan will be hoping to get a few more in as the weeks go on, and hopefully from their point of view, if the form continues. McIlroy bounding in from the River Taff end, and Bell Drummond plays it into the offside, beats the diving gully fielder, and they're back for 2 runs. Northeast sprawled full length but couldn't get anything on it. Root had to come round the boundary. 20 without loss.
Yeah, you see Bell Drummond there just trying, because you've got your third man up inside. Northeast there, backward point as well. He's just trying to pierce that gap between them get that ball through for the boundary rather than playing their aggressive cut shot where there's a fielder out there waiting for just a single.
Final ball of the McIlroy over. Bowls it to Bal Drummond, who's down the pitch and swinging and missing through to keeper almost, I think, on the second bounce, Mike. 20 for naught after 3.
Yeah, really good start from McIlroy. There's 2 overs just going for 6 runs and looking quite smart and causing a few problems for the Kent batsman.
It's obviously doing something out there, isn't it? It's not a complete flat track for the batters to swing to the crowd here.
Yeah, it'd be nice enough if that was a slower ball, that last ball, because it went one bounce through to Cook, the keeper there, who's not started a long way back, but with that it's nipping around. So is this wicket slightly too paced, or did he roll his fingers down? I wish we had a replay to see it, but yeah, change your bowling.
It's going to be Sisodia then from Cathedral Road End with his left arm spin then for the 4th over here at Sapphire Gardens. The boundary fielders, McIlroy is just below us at long off, and there's a fielder boundary rider on the onside as well. Thank you very much, Mike. Around the wicket comes Sisodia now to Moyeye. That's a great shot. He's cut that away and carved the field in half as well in the offside, just behind point, just in front of Gully, and that goes for 4 runs. Great placement.
Really good shot to give himself a little bit of room. Prem Sisodia's, he'll come wide round the wicket, angling that ball into leg stump, and just the batsman give himself a little bit of room, trying to pierce through that offside with all the fielders up inside the circle. He find the gap, it's going to race away for 4 in this outfield.
And he is finding the gaps at the moment. Yaya has 17 so far. Bal Drummond on 6.24 for none the Kent Spitfires, with Glamorgan winning the toss here and electing to bowl first. It'll nudge into the onside this time, and like I think the first ball of the piece, a much safer run for Tawanda Moyeye towards mid-wicket, and they'll take themselves 1. He got himself, as we were saying before, a 50, so did Daniel Bal Drummond, as they're putting in a long on for, or long off is going to long on for Daniel Bal Drummond. All of the analysis has led to this. He goes for a sweep, and that should be 4, and it will be. No chance for the boundary rider on the leg side. There's a wide open gap just to the right of the square leg umpire there, and it's been found by Daniel Bal Drummond. Lovely sweep shot, and no doubt after it left the bat that was going for 4.
Beautiful shot from Bal Drummond there, open up that leg side, that sweep. Bad bit of bowling from Prem Sisodia there, really good bowl, almost crept under Bal Drummond's bat there, but yeah, he was up to the task.
So 9 off the over so far of the 3 balls. Sisodia just wheels away now. Down the pitch comes Bal Drummond and slams it for 4. That's through extra cover or wide mid off if you prefer, and yeah, absolutely to the pitch of it and slammed away.
Yeah, he's done very well here, Bal Drummond, just keeping the bowlers guessing. He's down the wicket, he's sweeping, he's giving himself a little bit of room, picking up singles. He's making it very difficult for Glamorgan batsmen here. He's keeping them guessing. Yeah,
he's taking it on the full there. My apologies. 33 for none. As Sisodia once more. It's come down the pitch once again, and this one tries the same thing, but finds the fielder at cover. Bit toe-endy from Daniel Bal Drummond, not quite timed. 33 for none. And just 1 ball left of the 4th over then. Round the wicket comes the left arm spinner. Sisodia goes for this one down into the leg side. He's trying to sweep this one away. It's Daniel Bal Drummond, and finds the deep square leg, just a single.
Yeah, I think with that sweep he was looking for the maximum there, sending into the main stand, but fortunate for Glamorgan, he got bottom edge and just trickled away for a single out towards the boundary to root.
Bit of a scuff in the end, but going at 8 and a bit and over on this pitch so far, these 2, and wickets intact as well for the Spitfires, which they'll be very glad about, I'm sure, with some sort of platform. A long batting lineup they've got. No Alex Blake though, once again, hasn't played in the first 3 games, just a white ball contract for Kent. Might be a strange one for some Glamorgan supporters to not see him in the side, but they do go a long way down with Grant Stewart batting at 9 in this lineup, or sometimes up as a pinch hitter.
So Ul Hassan has switched ends and bowls, and that's driven down the ground. Good piece of fielding by McIlroy at mid-on, throwing himself to his left. A useful straight drive from Bal Drummond, but they're kept down to a single. As the stadium announcer tries to get some young members of the crowd even more excitable than they were already in the South Wales sunshine. 35 without loss, 5th over. Good start from Kent. Ul Hassan bowls. Played into the offside by Mayeye, but straight to Root on the edge of the circle, and there's no run.
Is Hatsoglu, is he 88 just below us here? Someone's warming up his shoulders.
No, Hatsoglu is 34.
I beg your pardon. Thank you very much.
88 is rhyming slang, as you ought to know, for Dan Douthwaite.
Oh, of course. I should know that, you're right. It was on the guide.
Here comes Ul Hassan to bowl to Mayeye. That's on leg stump and hoiked away for 4 runs. Down past fine leg in the circle, a little bit of width, and Ul Hassan just showing a few nerves, maybe the sort of ball that you might get away with in the seconds, but you definitely don't in the first.
Yeah, possibly. I think what he's got a very dominant leg side fielder, so all his protection is out on the leg side, so he is been asked by his captain to a real tight line, try and keep it on off stump, if not even a little bit straighter, so he's not giving much room for error here. So yeah, slightly down leg side there.
In comes Ul Hassan again at 39 for naught, and that one is edged over third man. Mayeye getting away with one there as he went for a big straight shot, but it flew off the edge or the shoulder of the bat and down to the third man boundary over the man in the circle. 43 for naught, Kent flying.
Yeah, he's slightly struggling with the ball in hand at the moment now, and just feel that the Kent batsmen realise this and actually, right, this is our time to get ahead of the game here.
He's gone for 23 off the 10 balls so far. Can he drag it back? And he comes balls, and that's a rather ugly shot from Mayeye. That's out towards Cow Corner for a single. 44 without loss. BBC Sport Online, BBC Radio Kent on DAB. We'll be joined by Radio Wales listeners later in proceedings, and we're also on the Glamorgan website, and you don't have to pay £6. 44 for naught.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You can send us £6 if you like. As Ul Hassan bowls down leg side, that'll be called a wide. Just past the batsman's thigh pad as Bell Drummond tried to stick it into the pavilion.
Yeah, so what I'll explain myself here. The captain's asking him to bowl slightly back of a length, angling in towards off stump with a field he set. So protection is out of deep mid wicket and deep square leg. So he's looking to go for singles in mid wicket.
Last ball of the 5th over is chopped down, and third man Prem Sisodia gets a hand to it and saves probably 3 runs as they go through 4. The single 46 without loss of 5 overs. Mayeye has 27 of them. Bell Drummond has 17.
I wonder where we are here, Mike, in terms of the balance between the two sides, because it seems like it's doing something for the bowlers, but there doesn't seem to be that much threat to the opening pair at the moment if they've missed it 1 or 2.
Yeah, they haven't timed everything perfectly though. They've edged a little bit. They're placing beautiful shots in between all that as well. So yeah, I wouldn't say honours even, because they're 46 for none. So you'd like to think if there was 1 or 2 wickets in there, Glamorgan are in the game more than we probably think they are. But yeah, change of bowling here. Dan Douthwaite come from change of bowling at the Cathedral Road end. Field set for him now is deep square and is deep point. So there is 2 fielders out. Ever a ring field beyond that.
Bell Drummond has 17, he's facing a non-striker 27. Bell Drummond then just tries to clip that. I think he was going more through mid-wicket than it ended up. It's rather squarer for a single. Again, hasn't really middled that one. Single into the onside, 47 for none.
Change bowling. That deep point is now being brought up inside the circle for Mayeye. He's facing this delivery, deep square and a deep mid-wicket again. Last over of the power play.
So Douthwaite, who does have 88 on his back, coming in now, broad of shoulder, slowish of stride, but cut through the offside, beautiful shot. That'll be 4 more runs to Mayeye. He's already been through that area once in the previous over from this end, and that'll be 4 more to him, and he's racing along at the moment, the young Kent batter.
Again, just giving himself a little bit of room to the leg side to open up that offside boundary option. Beautiful shot, clever batting.
To expand on his 59 that he got against Surrey here, 31. As I said, certainly showing a lot of promise. He's 22 years of age. Douthwaite just aborting his run there. Here we are, midge in the eye, I think we got there. Is that another one of the excuses for the bowlers? Said he lost his run up?
No, that's genuine.
That's genuine. Okay, thank you very much.
That.
That's why you need your expertise, Mike. This is why Mike Powell is here. He knows all the excuses bowlers can use. That is not one, apparently. Douthwaite then coming in once again to bowl to Mieye outside his leg stump as he takes strike this ball over the top. That'll be 4 runs. He's flayed that through extra cover, taking advantage of the field being up inside the circle on the offside, and almost leaning back on that shot, has 4 runs through the offside.
Another very, very nice shot, very similar to that 60th over long off, isn't it? Times the ball beautifully well. Up and over. Good length delivery, but yeah, with that field up on the offside, it does give you that option to free your arms. Up over for 4 runs.
35 for him, 55 for none. The Spitfires in the last over the power play. Faces again. I think he was going to try the ramp there. It's even better than that. He's glanced it away for 4 runs. Improvised shot. That's really good. It felt like he was going to try and ramp it, Mike, when it was initially coming to him. He's changed the shot, so a sort of glance past the man at fine leg inside the circle. But he's beaten the fielder. It's 4 more, 59 for none.
Smart bit of batting. They bowl outside off stump there. Douthwaite hasn't done the lock wrong there, really. He's got a good delivery, but yeah. But yeah, working well outside off stump and whipping that ball around. Man at 45 on the leg side.
Certainly played it late, but that's consecutive 4s, 3 of them. As Douthwaite comes in to bolt him once again. Back in his crease this time, tries to lever it over, I think maybe over third there, but he's missed it through the wicket-keeper. Better from Douthwaite. Tucking him up a little bit, coming into the body from the bowler.
Yeah, Douthwaite doing something slightly different there. He's back of a length. I think a little bit more for the batsman to think about it, rather than just throwing a length ball. Right, okay, you try and do something. He's tried that, and the batsman's well up to it. All of a sudden, right, have we got a slow ball? Have you got a bouncer? Do something different.
They'd love to get Mieye if they can. Last ball of the power play now. He's on 39 not out. Douthwaite goes wide in the crease, and it's scored through the hands of the man. An extra cover. Again, it's been bludgeoned through by Mieye. Fielder's got a hand to it, maybe even 2 hands. It's going high and it's going fast from Mieye. Absolutely bullet-like. It would have been a great catch, but it might go down as a chance, I think. End of the power play, and Kent Spitfires are 63 for none.
Yeah, drop catch from Kieran Carlson there and cover, which sounded like he is Glamorgan's best fielder. He's excellent in there. And
trouble is, he's also Glamorgan's shortest fielder.
He is the shortest field, yeah.
Felt like half a chance, that, didn't it? I mean, it's going
it is more than half a chance for a fielder of his quality. 2 hands to it, but it would have been an absolute screamer. But yeah, he's a very good fielder then, Kieran Carlson.
17 off, and here we go. He'll enjoy this, Mike. He's got his name and number on his shirts now,
yes.
But she didn't have, so
yes.
He'll enjoy watching this. It's not quite frog in a blender time, but it's unusual. Peter Hatzoglu, the Perth Scorchers leg spinner. Probably a few googlies, which Mike will be able to spot for us. 63 for naught. After 6, can he make the difference? He did on Wednesday, got a couple of vital wickets. He's just fiddling with his field, bringing Douthwaite a little bit finer at fine leg. A few more exertions from Hatzoglu, a few more spins the ball from one hand to the other. And in he comes and bowls, and Bell Drummond plays on the leg side down towards square leg and goes through for a single. Not often you see an approach like this, Mike.
No, it's different, isn't it? So, like you said earlier, a little bit Dan Bigger-esque. A couple of years ago when he was trying to kick his penalties. Very fidgety.
He seems to be almost throwing the ball back and forth when he's running into bowl. He does. Hatzoglu bowls, and that's driven through the offside by Mieye. There's a chase for Root. He'll pick out inside the extra cover boundary, but they're safely back for a couple of runs. 66 without loss.
Yeah, Hatzoglu, he really angles that ball in. It's quite tall action. So angles that ball into the right hand is off stump. So to cramp that batsman up.
Tall man around the 6'3" mark. But an absolutely extraordinary run up. As he bowls to Mieye. That's down leg side. Cook takes off the bails just in case, but wide is signalled. The umpires tonight, Rob White and Jack Shantry, whose brother Adam played for Glamorgan at one point in his career. Here comes Hatzoglu again, and again that's down leg side, and again wide is called.
I think his brother looks after the cricket up in Shrewsbury School. Has been there for a while now, I think, when he left Glamorgan.
68 without loss, Kent. Glamorgan not really firing many shots at the start with the ball, and the crowd, well, applauding politely but no more for the Kent boundaries. that's a better delivery, and Muyeye scuffs it off the toe of the bat as he mimes almost falling over. The Kent shirts are largely maroon and navy kit. Glamorgan with the dark blue and bright daffodil gold as they bring another fielder across from leg to off. Northeast goes in at backward point. 68 for naught. Hatzoglu. And he comes. Bowls. Big appeal for LBW. Not given. Muyeye, well, looked a bit baffled by that one, but
yeah, I think he's got a bit of bat on that. Bowler didn't look that interested, and batter didn't look too worried, so I think there would have been a large inside edge.
more of a crowd appeal maybe than anything else. That looked like the googly, I think. 68 for naught. Hatzoglu bowls and played gently out on the offside. They'll dash through for a quick single, but that was well placed by Muyeye, playing it no more than about 10 metres from the bat, and the bowler had to field himself. 69 for naught.
I love the start of Hatzoglu's.
I've worked it out. I've got it. He's like a puppy, and he needs to jump onto something that's a little bit too high for him, and he's building his courage up to try and jump up onto that sofa or chair, wherever it might be.
That's brilliant.
Well done, Mike. Here he comes. Bowls. Big. Oh, he's bowled him. Big swing from Bell Drummond, looking to hoik through mid-wickets, and Hatzoglu gets his third Glamorgan wicket in his third game. A little bit of a long over with a couple of wides in it, but he's struck. He's got a vital blow, and Bell Drummond has gone for 19.
Yeah, it's a really good start from Hatzoglu. You know, take his two wides out of it. He's only gone for 6 runs from that, and got the wicket of a dangerous Bell Drummond as well. Yeah, as you say, 19 runs for Bell Drummond. Muyeye still going strong on 46, and this brings the experienced Joe Denley to the crease.
Yeah, Joe Denley just played 2 championship games before effectively ruling himself out of county championship cricket to get his mojo back. I scored 35, I think, in this series so far in the Blast, but obviously you know a lot about Joe Denley's quality, having played with him in the for Kent, Mike, and a clean strike of the ball at his best.
Yeah, he's one of the batsmen you want to watch. If he scores 100, it's worth watching. He's a stylish batsman, but so much experience. Played a long time now. He had a stint Middlesex in between his stints at Kent. So yeah, very, very good player.
He's at the non-striker's end as Prem Sisodia will take up the ball at the Cathedral Road end now. 32 on his back, the left arm spinner to Muyeye, who has 46 already. Waits for this one. Good ball from Sisodia, actually. Is just tucked him up a little bit on the leg side. He's trying to free his hands, but makes room for himself on the outside the leg side. Just takes a single into the offside in the end to the boundary rider. And taking his guard now, Joe Denley, for his first ball of the piece. Kent, I would have said, would have been happy with their start so far. Run rate up near 10, 70 for 1 so far. Denley to face his first ball then. Coming now, he comes down the pitch, the first one, inside edges it past his stumps and through to the man at fine leg in the end. Well, there we are. You talked him up. Oh, what a beautiful striker of the ball he is. Not on that occasion, but gets away with it for a single.
Yeah, Glamorgan's job now, with the 2 spinners operating, be rush through these overs. Trying some quiet overs.
Sisodia now to Muyeye. He's gone big here up in the air. Is the fielder in a chance of this one? Might just be. Takes it up, throws it back. No, he doesn't, unfortunately. But he has saved. Well, they've just come through for 2, so saved 4 runs there. A brilliant attempt. Fielder on the mid-wicket boundary.
Northeast.
It's northeast there, has tiptoed over it and backhanded it as he's going over the rope. But his fielding teammate couldn't get close enough to it, so it's not out, but fantastic attempt. We see this so often now, it's almost customary for these players. I'm sure they're practicing them in the warm-ups as well. Single taken off this next ball by Muyeye. Then he's on 1, but fantastic from northeast. They must have taught him that here in Wales, because he wasn't doing that at Canterbury.
50 off just 29 balls.
Thank you very much. Oh, that is Mie's 50 as well, I should say. Yeah, he's raced to that. Took 4 fours in a single over a couple of overs ago. Denny again doesn't really time that one. I think he's looking to power it through mid-wicket, but it goes behind square, and he'll get himself another miss-hit single, 75 for 1. But yeah, fantastic fielding by Sam Northeast, saving the 6, always with his eyes on the ball, just inside the rope. Jumping back over it to backhand it back into play. Cut away by, well, actually driven by Mieye, this one out square on the offside. And he'd take a single. 75 for 1. That's the end of the over. Not a bad over.
No, I know. Just 7 runs from that. 6 from the previous over. So not a bad little stint for Glamorgan now. And the wicket in there as well, let's not forget. Those things on the boundary, North-East, obviously took the catch, was falling over the rope and just pushed it back. And they came back for 2 runs. They're big, not game-changing, but you get enough of them together, it makes a huge difference. The final score would have been another 4 runs on top of the 2 they run. So, yeah, it makes what would have been a great over actually something that's pretty reasonable. So, Glamorgan can now, of course, spread the troops far and wide, as they have done for the last couple of overs. Hatzoglu, Chris Cook directing traffic as well. Just making sure the angles are correct for the fielders. 76 for 1 after 8. Hatzoglu bowls. Bottom edge for 4 runs by Mieye. Lucky to get the boundary there. Yeah, bottom edge running away. Very little protection in that sort of area at the moment. He's got a deep point out, deep square, deep mid-wicket, and he's got a long off and a long on. So anything this side behind the wicket-keeper, there's very little protection.
As here comes Hatzoglu again, and this one's driven into the offside for just a single. 81 for 1. You're on BBC Sport Online, BBC Radio Kent DAB, and also via the Glamorgan Club website. I'm told that Surrey are in early trouble at 29 for 4 against Gloucestershire.
Oh, we don't want to hear that.
Surrey and Somerset setting the early pace. Somerset with 4 wins, including over both these 2 counties. Hatzoglu bowls to Denley, who chips it gently towards long on. The ball trickling up to McIlroy, and they're just going through for a single. 82 for 1.
Just edging and noodling his way through to his 3 runs he's got at the moment. But you just want to hit the middle of the bat early on, settle yourself in, get a pace of the wicket. Not quite there for Denley at the moment.
You can stand and watch Mieye, certainly, as Hatzoglu messes up his run-up. Quite a vigorous run-up for a spinner. Nice warm buzz around Sophia Gardens. Hatzoglu in, bowl, and played on the offside by Mieye. Single taken out towards Root at cover. And Kent Spitfires move on to 83 for 1. Crowd in good voice as Hatzoglu runs towards us again. Bowls to Denley, who drives just back past the bowler and is follow through up to long off for a fairly gentle single. Hatzoglu going down dramatically there. Close of play in the Test match was that Ireland were 97 for 3 in their second innings, still 255 runs behind. England having notched up 524 for 4 declared, with Ollie Pope hitting 205 and Ben Duckett 182. Hatzoglu in to bowl to Mieye, down leg side. Chris Cook looks for the stumping, but wide is given. He did get a stumping on Wednesday, Cook, so he's obviously keen to have a go at that, to make most of those wide balls if possible. Mike Powell saw some yesterday at Lords when the Irish were collapsing.
I didn't watch a lot of cricket down there, if I'm honest.
Hatzoglu into Mieye, who gets in a bit of a tangle there and eventually scampers through for a single as Chris Cook comes out from behind the stumps. 85 for 1 then, Kent, and we are through 86 for 1 after 9 overs.
Yeah, not a bad over for Kent there. With the leg bye, if they include that, it's 10 off the over, so not a bad over for them. Could be a change of bowling, it looks here. Dan Doubtford's coming back onto bowl at Cathedral Road end.
They seem to be having more problems with Hatzoglu than any other
Yes.
Glamorgan attack so far. It seems to me they're a lot more tentative with him.
Yeah, I think just his height, I think the angle he bowls, he changes his paces quite nicely as well. I think it's a bit of a handful.
Douthwaite then, right arm over the wicket, will bowl to Miyeye, already 50 on the board for him. Cuts that gently away to the boundary rider on the offside or point fielder, and he'll take himself a single. Moves on to 58 from this 87 for 1. I said already proving what a talent he is at 22. Born in Zimbabwe, out of Eastbourne College, where he was scouted by Kent, was Wisden Cricketer of the Year a couple of years ago. And this hot Douthwaite bowls to Denley now. He lifts this off his pads. Will this be 6? It will, over the head of Billy Root, and that is vintage Joe Denley. Hardly any backlift. He's just lifted that off his pads, and Root in the end, absolutely no chance on the boundary. And that is 6 runs for Joe Denley.
Yeah, that's more the Denley we're used to, isn't it? Just veering onto his legs there and just almost clipping us, picking it up. But that probably went another 10 foot over the boundary. Great shot from Joe Denley.
Yeah, so add 6 to the total. 93 for 1 now. Kent in the 10th. Douthwaite bowls to him once again. This one's a leading edge, is it? Fielder's underneath it and will take it in the end quite comfortably at mid-off, looping up, and after a glorious shot, one he'll want to forget. And Joe Denley is gone for 10, and Kent Spitfires 93 for 2, and that might feel like a little bit of a gimme for Glamorgan, but Douthwaite had stuck to his task in the end. An easy catch, backpedaling though it was for mid-off. Kent 93 for 2.
You almost had a bit of a leg cut from Douthwaite there, slower ball, and it's actually done Joe Denley all ends up, and he's through his shot before you know, and ended up just getting a leading edge and a very comfortable catch for Ingram at mid-off.
I was going to say, is it Colin Ingram underneath it? He's undone plenty of teams with his batting, Kent being among them over the years. But Denley goes for 10 then, and it will be Sam Billings coming in at 4, the Kent captain, who's had an indifferent summer with the bat so far, certainly in the championship by his very high standards. Himself 29 against Somerset in the losing cause on Tuesday, but hit 1 or 2 shots which suggested he was just getting back into rhythm. We know he's a quality player, obviously, especially in this form.
Yeah, exciting player Billings, has been for some while now. So, but he's got 10 overs to bat here, 10.5 overs, so plenty of time for him to get himself in. You know how quickly he does score when he gets going, so there's no real rush as far as he's concerned. Run rate just under 10, 2 wickets, 93 on the board. Glamorgan is pushing themselves back into this game with a couple of wickets.
Yeah, good bowling by Douthwaite. Obviously, I suppose as much as anything bowling in T20 is keeping your head when the ball's flying around.
Brave enough to bowl a slow ball, and he's just gone for 6.
And certainly deceived Joe Denley into popping that one up to Colin Ingram. Sam Billings will not be rushed. Bright orange boots, I think characteristic over the years. He was flamboyant with the footwear. Here's Douthwaite to bowl to Billings, comes down the pitch and ends up the short ball, just fending it off his chest really down towards fine leg, and takes a single to get off the mark. I think Douthwaite may have seen him coming, just dropping it short. Yeah, it's 58 so far, 94 for 2 Kent Spitfires. Glamorgan just punctuating their innings with that wicket in this over. Glad to see the back of Denley, who can be destructive to say the very least in this form of cricket. Douthwaite then once more, bowling right arm over the wicket to Miyeye, drives this one straight to the man at cover. Kieran Carlson, the captain, picks up, and there's no run. Just hoping for the slowdown, I suppose, after the wicket falls, that naturally that...
Yeah, it's interesting how Miyeye will play this. Will he carry on going the same pace he's been going and being as risky as he has been, or will he calm down slightly and give Billings time to get in, or will Billings take the pressure away from him? So right, I'll play all the risky shots, you get yourself a big score.
Douthwaite now bowls to Miyeye, goes to the ramp. Is it going to be caught? No, goes over the fine leg. In fact, wasn't in with a shout in the end, and has flicked it away off his stumps. 4 more to Miyeye. This is an attractive innings, no doubt about that. 62, perhaps didn't make the greatest contact, but it's enough to get it over fine leg The risk versus reward has worked out for him. He's on to 62 and the score on to 98 for 2 for Kent at the end of the 10th.
Yeah, honours even for that over there. Quite a lot of runs came from it, but stole the wicket in that for Douthwaite. Dangerous player Joe Denley, being out down with a slow ball. Change of bowling at the River Taff end.
Sisodia again.
Sisodia's back on.
Yeah, Glamorgan with the 5 frontline bowlers, so not much margin for error. 98 for 2 at halfway. You'd rather be in Kent's shoes of whatever colour than Glamorgan's, I think, at the moment.
I don't think I could carry those off, Nick. I'm not sure about you.
Depends how much your sponsor's paying you.
Sisodia bowls to the bright Billings, who hits it up in the air. Douthwaite should get to it. Oh, he's held it in the end. He had a long way to go from short fine leg. The ball eventually taken closer to square leg, but Billings goes for just a single. Caught Douthwaite, bowled Sisodia 98 for 3.
Yeah, Billings will be disappointed with that. So a little bit of a drag down. Billings trying to pull the ball in. All he ended was getting a top edge to the Douthwaite, willing hands at Douthwaite. Full stretch running down from fine leg, short fine leg, and a good catch in the end, and get rid of a dangerous player, Billings. He'd be disappointed with the shot. Glamorgan be happy with the wicket.
So wickets starting to go. They haven't quite interrupted the Kent momentum because they've still got Mayaya at the other end. But 3 down as Jordan Cox comes to the wicket for Kent. 38 not out against Gloucestershire, being his best effort so far. But a big wicket to get rid of the Kent captain so cheaply. Just the single, only faced a couple of deliveries. So batting to come, Cox, Leaning, Linder, Stewart, Everson, Agar and Hogan. Not necessarily in that order, apart from Hogan is at 11, which is compulsory, I think. 98 for 3. Second ball of the 11th over. Sisodia bowls, and it's played back to him on the bounce by Cox, deceiving one or two of the more well lubricated members of the crowd. Sisodia will try and get through his overs quickly, as next ball is just played gently to short mid wicket. Carlson fields, shovels it back to Sisodia, rugby style, though I think he'd need better hands than that if he was playing at fly half still. Reverse sweep comes out, and that has beaten the man up in the circle, and Jordan Cox gets off the mark with a boundary that brings up the Kent 100 in the 11th. Yeah,
Needed that shot there. They've got wicket, dot ball, so they need something from this over. Just the 4 runs come from it so far.
102 for 3. Muyeye 62 not out. In comes Sisodia again from the River Taff end and bowls, and back on his stumps goes Cox, and plays it all along the ground up to McIlroy at long off. Single taken, 103 for 3. I suppose there's a little bit of latitude for the new men to have a couple of balls to have a look at it, with Muyeye striking so well at the other end. He's on strike, and that is chopped straight to northeast at backward point. Sisodia has his second wicket, and Kentra 103 for 4, and it's the danger man to Wanda Muyeye, who's on his way back.
Muyeye just giving himself a little bit of room, trying to get through offside. He served him really well up until this point, but it was a tame shot in the end, a comfortable catch for William Northeast at backward point. That really does sort of slow Kent down here. So they got Cox, who's in. There were just 5 to his name, who's faced, I think, 2 deliveries, and it's a brand new batsman coming in now. Right, what do they do? Did Kent stick or twist? They sort of get themselves up to maybe a 160, 170, but the way this wicket is played and how good this outfield is, I think that might be a little bit light.
That's 3 wickets gone in the space of 10 runs, so it's a little bit of a clatter. Kent already have a respectable formation of a score on the board, really. 103 with 9 overs to go, but maybe, as Mike's been suggesting, they just rein in their expectations a little bit now.
Out for him, been joined by batting partner and great friend Jack Leaning, having a good look around the field. fine leg being pushed back. They will go short on Jordan Cox here. Bowling now, and a straight drive, a gentle one up to long on, fielded by McIlroy, and there's a single.
Is this the combination that got Kent's record stand in
It was
first
indeed,
class?
yes, yeah. So both of them got double centuries a few years ago against Sussex. At that point, Jordan Cox was opening the batting. Now he's down the order and has taken the gloves actually in the last county championship matches as well. Sam Billings has decided to concentrate on his batting. Having a great summer so far, as I said. Leaning then, chance for Kent to have a little bit of a look, I suppose, maybe here. Say maybe reassess their target, as it's just a gentle nudge into the offside, and they'll take a single. You don't have long, do you, in T20, Mike, to settle? But
no, it doesn't. I think Ulsan bowling him now. He's got up 13. For each of his 2 overs he probably did. I think it's the chance of let's get him through another over. Let's get that out of the way. We've got 2 fresh batsmen in here.
I mean, they won't try and take advantage of him. But drive from Cox, that's a very good shot indeed. And again, looked quite gentle for the address of the bat, but all timing through wide mid-off, and that's 4 runs.
Yeah, classic cover drive, isn't it? Beautiful shot.
Nice timing from Jordan Cox, and Sam just showing a bit of temper after that one, probably frustration more than anything else. After first 2 going for singles, wanted to keep this over tight for his captain. 109 for 4 in the 12th then. Kent Spitfires. He lost at Oscar Morgan, electing to bowl first. It's on the money for Sam this time, and Cox treating it with some respect, straight back to the bowler, no run.
Yeah, it's amazing in T20, I think, with your ramps, reverse ramps, your scoops, everything else that goes with 100 and T20 cricket. I think more applause comes for a cover drive and a straight drive than any other shot still.
It's a proper cricket shots and all, yeah. 109 for 4 as Sam bowls, and this one's mishit by Cox, trying to find the same area he did with that sumptuous cover drive, but straight to Colin Ingram, slightly mistimed up towards mid-off, all the way along the ground.
Yeah, not a bad over so far.
No.
As I said, they're trying to sneak one through here quickly, discreetly. Just 6 runs coming from his 5 deliveries so far.
I wonder if Cox will go for this one, or whether they'll just keep their powder dry for later, these pair. The latter, it's a good ball as well. We just took a little bit of pace off it up to mid-on, and a single taken by Jordan Cox, just 7 off the over. That's a win for Glamorgan, I'd say, at this stage.
Yeah, Hilsan, just 33 coming from his 3 overs he's bowled so far. Prem Sisodia, looks like he's going to bowl what will be his last over. Yeah.
And welcome to BBC Radio Wales listeners, where Kent are 110 for 4 after 12 of their 20 overs. The main man for the visitors so far has been Tawanda Muyeye, their Zimbabwean-born opening bat, who is out for 62. There's been 1 wicket for Peter Hatzoglu, Glamorgan's Australian spinner, but here's Prem Sisodia, who's also got a couple. And the first ball of his new over is played by Cox down on the leg side, and they go through for a single. So 2 to Sisodia, 1 to Dan Douthwaite, and 1 to Hatzoglu, the wicket takers. The men out: Bell Drummond for 19, Denley for 10, Billings for 1, and Muyeye for 62. Here is Sisodia bowling to Leaning, who chips it down the ground for a single. And that clatter of wickets, 3 in the space of 10 balls right in the middle of the innings. Kent were 98 for 2 at halfway, but having to reassess slightly on this glorious evening here in Cardiff as Sisodia bowls and Cox drives down the ground gently for a single. Don't see this cricket by consensus very often, Mike, in T20.
Yeah, it's a bit worrying for Kenny. They obviously just rebuilding, try and go right. We need 3 or 4 overs, 2 or 3 overs of 6s, 7s, 8s rather than 12s or 13s.
As on the back foot, Leaning plays straight to Carlson at cover, and there's no run.
So they use 2 more wickets here in another 10 deliveries, for argument's sake. They're in a real mess. So they're just trying to rebuild for a few overs.
Sisodia into Jack Leaning, who plays another one into offside. Carlson can't get to it, but Root comes in off the cover boundary. 114 for 4. Kent, having been put into bat by Kieran Carlson. The main grandstand away to our right is round about half full maybe. It is a decent crowd on a Friday night in the sunshine, enjoying Glamorgan putting the brakes on as Cox plays one back to Sisodia, and 114 for 4 after 13 overs. And as you say, Kent willing to knock it round, because I suppose Glamorgan showed on Wednesday night the value of having wickets in hand, where Cook and Ingram were allowed to go bananas in the closing overs.
Yeah, there's wickets in hands, and there's wickets in hands for the people who can hit it out the ground, and these two definitely can do that. So it's worth these two hanging around, getting themselves in, because they can reach any boundary on any ground. So yeah, there's wickets in hands with the right people, and these two are certainly those two people.
Darthwaite demanding a fielder comes in at third. They're pushing the fine leg back once again. It's time for Leaning. Did that for Cox when he first came in. They was him to go short, I suppose, and tempt, but this one's a good length delivery. It's driven up to mid-off rather quick single taken. Colin Ingram shines at the stumps. I think Leaning would just have made his ground there, even with a direct hit. Might have been close though.
Yes, like to the left of Ingram there.
So as you say, Kent just settling a little bit more here, or maybe having to settle for a lower score as well. Opening stand of 69 between Daniel Bell-Drummond and Dwanda Mieye got them off to a great start. That ended in the 7th over. Douthwaite now to Cox. And he just gently drives one into the offside. To pointer, that'll be a single. So we're working in ones to start this over from Douthwaite. A lot of experience between these two, even though Jordan Cox is still in his well, I'll say early mid-20s now, but he's played T20 around the world, has been in the Pakistan Super League and in South Africa this winter as well. Jack Leaning raises his bat, keeps it there as Douthwaite comes in and then cuts it away. Will this be 4? Fielder will get there. No, he won't. Just beaten him. Deceptive pace on it from Jack Leaning. Lovely shot. 4 runs behind square.
Yeah, a little bit short and wide from Douthwaite there, but he got all of it in with that cut shot. Slightly behind point. Run away very quickly. It's showing how quick this outfield is, and we're saying sort of 160 might just be a little bit light on here. I think it'd be closer to sort of a 180 and above would be a winning score.
Yes, certainly they would have been aiming that, wouldn't they, when Bell-Drummond and Mieye were together, and when Denley came in. Those 3 quick wickets going. Douthwaite to Leaning. He'll take a quick single into the onside off the off stump as Northeast comes in from the boundary. Just one more to the total, 121 for 4. But I take your point, they look like they're looking for perhaps a single boundary and an over, maybe getting 7, 8, 9 if they can at the moment, rather than going really big.
Yeah, 10 and over brings him over 180. Is an ask, but I don't think it's an unreasonable big ask.
They've got a platform to do that in the last 5 overs or so. Douthwaite goes short. It's whipped away by Cox, or steered down to the boundary. Good stop there. It'll come back in, flat throw just before the boundary, and they come back for 2. Is that Billy Root out there?
Yeah, didn't you tell from the crowd? That's not booing, that's rooting.
It might have been. Perhaps Jordan Cox had done something to upset them. I'm not quite sure. 23 for 4. Might not be long. 16 for him, 9 for Leading. Here on a beautiful sunny evening with Nick Webb, Mike Powell, Matt Cole with you. Dan Douthwaite coming in with himself a wicket and a catch so far on the full. In fact, Yorker length delivery dug out by Cox. They come through for a single. Ingram deciding to keep his powder dry, not throw down the stumps at the non-strikers end with Jordan Cox well safe. But 124 for 4 at the end of the over. So once again, it's not Kent blazing away here. I think Glamorgan will feel they've got them in a bit of a holding pattern at the moment.
Yeah, 10 off, good over. Good over without really stretching themselves too far. So there are runs out there. I think again 180 might be got a bit high on. Change of bowling again.
Still pretty possible with 6 overs left.
Yep.
Go at 9.5. Get to 180. Hatzoglu will return to the attack from the River Taff end on home debut. Lots of vigorous exercises, as if he hadn't bowled for hours. It's actually about 10 minutes since his last over. Cook standing up, of course, looking for the stumping, and he's bowling to Jordan Cox on 17 not out, and Cox plays it up towards long on. They'll look for 2 here because it's played fairly gently, and they will come back for 2 as McIlroy's throw comes in wide of the wickets, and well backed up by Colin Ingram. 126 for 4.
Leaning turned really hard, didn't he, for the second there?
Yeah.
Play that too.
Probably the largest boundary up there, isn't it? Sort of that deep mid-wicket area today.
Yes, it's reasonably central, the pitch, just slightly towards the grandstand side of where we're watching from at the Cathedral Road end, as Hatzoglu bowls a slower ball that's beautifully fielded at cover there as it's driven by Cox. Colin Ingram rolling back the years with that full length save.
Yeah, it's 4 runs saved, isn't it? Big stop that.
Ingram 37, as is Chris Cook, having had his birthday earlier in the week. Hatzoglu bowls, that's a little bit short and clipped into the leg side by Cox. They'll look for 2, they'll turn and come back, and that's good running from Leaning at the non-striker's end, who is home very comfortably indeed, as Chris Cook frantically waving his gloves, directing troops.
So that brings a change in the field as well. They've just done two twos out to long on, and they've moved the fielder away from there, which is always a little bit embarrassing when you're on the field.
128
change of personnel.
Yeah, just swap with them.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
You've had 2 efforts. Off you go.
Hatzoglu bowls, played back to him by Cox, and it's a dot ball. So Glamorgan trying to get their fielders exactly in the most suitable places. As Hatzoglu goes through his routine once more and is into bowl, driven into the offside, but straight to Ingram at cover, and there's no run for Jordan Cox. He remains on 21, 128 for 4. 4 off 5 balls now in this over.
It's a really good over, isn't it?
Can Hatzoglu get out of it okay? Or can Cox produce a boundary? He doesn't attempt to, as he plays another one gently on the leg side, and again they'll look for 2 runs, and they will come back as the throw comes in, left arm from McIlroy, but safely back for the 2. So Kent dealing in 2s in that over. They got 3 of them, but that's only a run a ball. 130 for 4 with 5 overs left. Still the capability of getting to 180, Mike?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Hatzoglu, really good over from there, really good set. Just the 3 twos coming from it, and possibly could have been single. So credit to him. Just his 21 coming from his 3 overs. One important wicket in there as well. He's done really well. Change of bowl at the Cathedral Road end. McIlroy coming back on, left arm McIlroy coming back on to bowl.
For viewers of the Glamorgan stream, they've found the answer to where's Wally. There he is. 9 of them.
Yeah.
Fancy dress outfits somewhere in the stands.
So if you think you've had a lot of beer this evening, you're all right. There are really 9 of them. Yeah. So McIlroy will bowl from this Cathedral Road end. Didn't look like Kent were able to take any liberties with Peter Hatzoglu settling for those 3 twos as Leaning goes for this one outside the off stump, just dies on him a little bit. Good ball from McIlroy, actually slanting across the right-hander through to the wicketkeeper, almost throwing his shoulder out with that one, Leaning.
Yes. So batting now, you're right. You minimum 7s. That's what you look. Minimum 7s. Ideally, you're up above 10s. That would be your target. 5 overs to go.
Yeah, 7s takes them to 165.
Yeah, a bit light there. 7s.
That's below par. And here's McIlroy then to Leaning. Again, just taking a bit of pace off the ball, McIlroy, and it's through the shot and out towards mid-wicket. Leaning just taking a single there. It's not timing it.
Yeah, they need a boundary. They need 2 boundaries just to get a bit of momentum into their innings and get them going at the moment. They're just living off a bit of scraps. A little bit ugly, picking up the 2s where they can, but a couple of lusty blows. All of a sudden you feel a little bit better about yourself, a little bit more confident, and then you get that momentum and you get up to that possibly 180.
So McIlroy hoping to do nothing of the sort, but goes, and that will go from Jordan Cox. That's a huge blow over square leg for 6 runs. Immediately that left the bat, you knew it was going like a pistol shot.
flat from about 25 metres high, just went flat halfway up the grandstand. What a shot.
Yeah, that's just launched over there. As you say, it wasn't a sort of high looping trajectory. It was slammed into the stand by Jordan Cox.
A couple of them, that's what they need, just to get themselves going.
137 for 4. The conference between Colin Ingram and bowler Jamie McElroy. Goes back in his crease slightly. Jordan Cox stepping across his stumps here. It's up in the air, way up in the air. Will a fielder get underneath it? They're stretching to try and get there. Kieran Carlson is there and misses it. Actually overruns it, comes too far into the circle and has lost the trajectory of the ball. And this one, which has gone a mile up in the air, they come through for 2 and he's run underneath it.
He literally ran underneath it, didn't he?
Has overrun it. He's come absolutely thundering in from the boundary.
I thought he was going to be short. He's going to end up diving for it, but actually
that's strange from Kieran Carlson. He's just lost the sight of it, the flight of it. As McElroy goes, he's gone. It's another chance. It's way up in the air. Carlson sets himself this time underneath it. Does he? Oh, he dropped it, and it goes over the rope for 4. Well, that one he was a lot closer to. He's got both hands to it this time. And the captain, well, instead of him glowering at one of his fielders, has to think about what he's done himself there. And Jamie McElroy will be absolutely gutted.
And rub salt in the wound as well. He's parried it over for a boundary.
Yeah, it's gone for 4.
I'll keep saying he's a very good fielder, Kieran Carlson.
It's a bad night at the office, certainly in the field for him. And that's 13 off the over so far. 1 ball to come. Slower ball, really good. Reply that from McElroy. Slower and shorter. And that goes for a dot ball, and he just rather grumpily just bowls the ball on the ground to whoever will pick it up. Does McElroy. Should have had 1 if not 2 wickets there. 143 for 4 at the end of the 16th.
13 off. A good over for Kent. Could have been a lot less than that if the catches were taken. It wasn't to be. Could that be a little bit of a kickstart that gets Kent going again and get them back into this game, or get them up to, like we keep on saying, a 180. It's 143 for 4 at the moment. 4 overs remaining.
Yeah, it's not always the highest scoring of grounds, this, is it, Mike? 180 suggests it's a good wicket, and coming through all right. Hatzoglu to try and put the brakes on. 1 for 21 off 3 as he sees lean back and chop it through the offside for a single out to Root. 144 for 4. Well, Kieran Carlson really overran both those. He shot past the first one and again going slightly too far in for the second one and palmed it backwards over the ropes. 144 for 4. Cox on strike. Reverse sweep was going to be attempted, but Hatzoglu just whizzed it through outside off stick, and although the batsman was in a position for that to be his leg side, that doesn't count. 144 for 4. Hatzoglu
way outside off now,
using his experience. And he comes, bowls, hoiked away on the leg side. Will that one carry? Yes, it will, to mid-wicket, where North East takes the catch low down. And Glamorgan finally gets Jordan Cox as he gives them catching practice, and it's third time lucky for a Welshman, and Hatzoglu picks up his second wicket again.
Yeah, I think he's bowled really well here tonight. He's into his last over. He's just gone for 32 runs. 22 run. Excellent. Really, really good bowling. Picking up some vital wickets as well. He's been unlucky with some of the runs that have been given off him. So, yeah, I think he's sort of been the glue that sort of held this Glamorgan sort of innings together at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit I was raised an eyebrow or two when Glamorgan replaced Michael Neser, at least temporarily, with a leg spinner, even though he's got good pedigree in the big bash. You think, how's that going to fit in?
Probably just think they've got enough bowlers, enough seamers, possibly, or Rory Smith, who's back in the fold for this competition as well. They probably thought they had enough there.
144 for 5 then. We're in the 17th over. They are whizzing past with the 2 spinners bowling their quota of overs. Hatzoglu has got 3 balls left of his 4th, as George Linder, the left-handed South African, comes in at 7, and he is an international cricketer, Linda, with 14 T20 internationals, as well as a handful in the other formats of the game as well. 31 years old, from Western Province, and he's wearing 27. Expect to see him bowl a bit of slow left arm as well. And Hatzoglu to Linda. As the crowd get going, and Linda just plays his first ball gently away on the leg side, out towards deep mid-wicket, and they'll go through for a single. 145 for 5. Jack Leaning is on 11 not out after 10 balls, and as Cox took up the momentum from Muyeye once he was out, it'll be up to Leaning maybe to strike a couple of big blows in these last few overs. Hatzoglu in to bowl to Leaning, who plays that one into covers. Will settle for the single there. McIlroy in off the boundary. They don't seem to hide McIlroy in the field as they do with, or try and do with some seamers generally in county cricket, but I guess there aren't many hiding places in the field in T20. 146 for 5. Hatzoglu to Linda, who plays that one on the leg side. Might think about the second. No, McIlroy is to it quickly enough. And that really is an excellent spell from Peter Hatzoglu, who finishes with 2 wickets and very little damage done off his bowling, as it disappears off the screen just at the time when I was going to give it.
Yeah, just the 4 runs coming from that over there is excellent set. He's done really well tonight, 2 important wickets.
2 for 25.
Yeah, it didn't feel like they could take any liberties with him at all, Ken, could they? And those 2 wickets of Daniel Drummond when he was going well with Muyeye, and Jordan Cox also had 35 when he went. It's going to be Hassan from Cathedral Road End. I don't think it's his birthday. It's someone in the crowd's birthday. It's someone's birthday.
It's always someone with X thousand people here. It's going to be someone's birthday. But
the law of averages would certainly suggest it. So you're on a winner if you're the
and
announcer.
if it's not, then just tell them. They might get a free cake for dessert.
I'd never do that. At least not more than 3 times a year. 147 for 5. George Linda, that's something to prove to Kent fans, the South African. Cuts that away, and that'll be 4 runs. Well, that's proof positive. Full-length delivery, and that's just been cut away between the man at third and point, and 4 runs off the first ball.
They'll need a response here, Ken. Just the 4 runs coming from the previous over. They need something more, actually a lot extra from this. Ulsan, he's been pretty expensive so far tonight. His 3.1 overs have gone for 37 runs. No wickets yet. Quick chat with Colin Ingram at the top of his mark, suggesting where to bowl, what line.
Yeah, Ingram is a former captain of this side, so
very experienced player.
So Hassan comes into bowl now to Linda once more. Goes, it's an edge away for 4 runs. That one improved the bowler's mood, and a thick edge, almost backspin on it as it's going past level with wicketkeeper Chris Cook, but he had absolutely no chance. It's gone between him and the fielder at third inside the circle, and consecutive 4s to start. One a better shot than that one, but fortune favours the brave quite often in T20 Blast.
Yeah, score moving on 155 for 5. 2.4 overs remaining.
Kent, as you said, Mike, probably looking to target around 180, if not more. Full toss, and that's bludgeoned back, and that'll be 4 runs. And Linda straight back. I said it's going to be 4 runs. Not seeing Jamie McIlroy at my blind spot to my right where the pillar was. I thought I was going all the way, but actually made a really good attempt. He got close to it in the end, but that full toss was an absolute invitation for Linda, wasn't it? He did it stoutly back, despite the diving efforts of McIlroy. It's 4-4-4 to start the over.
Yeah, 3 4s, 3 balls, 3 4s.
159 for 5. Kent then halfway through the 18th over here on BBC Radio Wales and BBC Radio Kent. I gather Kent listeners might have lost us for a time. Glad to have you back. 159 for 5 then. So Linda goes for this one. This won't be a 4. It's a better delivery actually. It's tucked him up a little bit, made it difficult for him to swing his hands through on off stump. Good length delivery, and Linda just takes a single up to mid on. And Kieran Carson throws back in. 160 for 5. So I wonder, with 2 overs left, Linder could certainly try and free his hands here. Leaning's a big hitter as well. They've got Grant Stewart, Joey Everson still in the hutch as well, who was batted Kent towards victory in the One Day Cup final last year. That's sort of picked off leg stump, but behind square by Leaning. He'll just get a single actually in the end. So more or less Yorker delivery near his toes from Hassan. Good delivery that one. 6-1 for 5.
Squeezing a Yorker length, isn't it? Difficult. Still the best ball. Still the best go-to delivery.
That's right, deep in his crease to try and get that one away. Absolutely, yeah. Linder 15, ball to come from Hassan. Linder goes for it again. It's swung out towards square leg, a bit of a misfield, and they'll come back for the second. Leaning running towards the danger end, but in the end the throw's well wide. Would have been a real, have to be an absolutely pinpoint accuracy by Hatzoglu, an awful long way away from the non-striker's end. They come through for 2, and it's 1-6-3 for 5 at the end of 18. 12 balls to come.
Yeah, Hassan makes his debut tonight in the T20 format for Glamorgan. Might do something with the bat, you never know. Not his night with the ball, 4 overs gone for 49. No wickets to his name, but you never know. It could be his night with the bat.
Well, it is the risk that Glamorgan are taking with essentially 5 frontline bowlers, and well, Carlson's bowled 1 over and Douthwaite, and Ingram hasn't bowled this year, so they don't give themselves with a lot of room for error. Billy Root's batting at 7, and he's not a bowler at all these days. 163 for 5, then 2 overs left as Douthwaite, Douthwaite on the back of his shirt, even though there's no other Douthwaite in the squad. And he comes and bowls, and that's hit back over his head by Leaning for 4 runs. Absolutely dead straight, neither long on nor long off could get anywhere near it, and it looks very much as though Glamorgan are going to be chasing more than 9 runs and over.
Yeah, well, shots like that just suggests to me, or convinces me, that this is a really good wicket. Nice and straight, all he's done is nice and straight bat, pick it up over the bowler's head, 4 runs, timed really sweetly.
You know, what's Douthwaite? 1 for 43 and with 5 balls to go, and he hasn't actually bowled particularly badly at any point, has he? I don't think. All right.
Nope.
167 for 5, both batters on 17. Douthwaite to Leaning, a bit of a dance round and then a pull shot, and he's just got a little bit of bat on it, and it's gone down past fine leg for 4 runs, and Kent are on the charge at 171 for 5.
I thought the bat missed that there. I thought it was 4 wides down the leg side, but looking to cramp the batsman up and bowl and spin it into leg stumps. Got slightly wrong. A bit of a full toss down leg side. Batter got a little bit of bat on it.
It was done by Leaning's footwork there, I think, with the Kent man dancing around in the crease, the former Yorkshire player. 171 for 5. This is going to be a formidable chase facing the home side as Douthwaite is into bowl, and is there a little edge on that one? Yes, there is. Up goes the umpire's fingers. Leaning was caught trying to force on the offside, just a little bit too close him to play the shot, and it went through low down to Chris Cook. So Dan Douthwaite gets his 2nd of the innings, despite being somewhat expensive, and it's a good take by Cook.
Yeah, Leaning trying to give himself a little bit of room there, trying to run it down to 3rd man. Fielders up inside the circle there, seeing some waves, doing a little bit of extra bounce from Douthwaite's delivery, and a comfortable catch for Cook, just slightly diving forward.
So he's gone for 21 as Jack Leaning, 6 for 171, but we're in the 19th over, and Kent 9 balls left. Might just get to the 190 mark with a couple of boundaries. New batter is Grant Stewart, the Australian Italian.
That a sandwich? Yeah.
Not too many Italian internationals around UK county cricket. As Douthwaite is in to bowl, and that's on the legs of Stewart, and runs down to short fine leg for a run or a leg bye. Come on, make your mind up, but it's a leg bye. 172 for 6, but it gets Linder back on strike.
He's part of Gareth Burr's great recruitment campaigns and for the Italian cricket team. Jay Dernbach has also played international cricket for Italy as well.
Has he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Though I think Grant's mum is Italian, so that is actually a proper way into an international team, isn't it? It's not like Tony Cascarino's dodgy Irish passport.
172 for 6. Dowswaite bowls, and Linda plays it away on the offside for a single. 173 for 6. So 2 for 48 next to Dowthwaite's name. There's a record set, by the way, against Glamorgan. The 69 runs that they took off Tom Helm was the most expensive 4 overs by an opposition bowler against Glamorgan a couple of nights ago. One record I didn't quite pick up at the time amid the many. Dowthwaite bowls, short loopy bouncer. Will that be allowed? Okay.
No ball.
No ball. Way over Grant Stewart's head. Just bounced too much tennis ball bounce.
It's not a free hit though, this one, is it?
No.
No, it's not for the no ball. Not for the no ball height.
It's the front foot.
Dowthwaite waving a couple of fielders round. Fine leg comes up into the circle. Long off. Goes back onto the edge. 175 for 6. Dowthwaite again attempts to bowl his last ball, and Stewart plays it up to long on. And rather surprisingly, they don't look to push the second run. So 176 for 6 off 19 overs. You're on BBC Radio Wales, BBC Radio Kent, BBC Sport Online. 176 for 6, 1 over to go.
Well, Stewart can hit a long ball. Grant Stewart, big shoulders. Linda the same, so I don't think there's any favouritism necessarily between the two of them. Obviously, Linda has 18 already. Perhaps is a little bit more sophisticated as a batter in T20 cricket and beyond. But 6 balls to come then. Mike Powell's already stated. 180 sort of par, do you think, on this?
I think
or
it's
a
really
decent score.
I think it's a decent score. I think it's a decent score, yeah. I think they've got themselves back into this game from where they were. Got off an absolute flyer, Kent, and then Glamorgan dragged themselves back in with a flurry of wickets. And they've had a few unexpected boundaries, you say, and got themselves back into it, really.
Ebb and flow, as you so often get in these contests. And McElroy to bowl the last 6 then to Stewart. Stewart whips that off his pads. Will that be 4 runs? It has somehow found its way between the man at mid-wicket and the man coming round from long on. Perfect placement, and actually he's hit it pretty hard.
He couldn't have timed that or placed that any better. Great shot.
There's not much room between the two fielders out there on the leg side, and he's found himself 4. So great work from Grant Stewart. As Kent move on. Exactly 180 for 6 now. 5 balls to come. He goes to this one again. It's Yorker length delivery. It's a good ball from McElroy. He's attempting to thrash that one away in the same area. Grant Stewart finds the fielder, Billy Root this time at mid-wicket, and just a single. 181 for 6. But yeah, decent ball that one, wasn't it? Reply again has gone really full at the pads. George Linder, the left-hander.
Slight change in field. He's got a man up on the... Oh no, so we've got fine leg back on the boundary, deep square, deep mid-wicket, deep long on. So everyone is back on the boundary on the leg side. Everyone bar deep point is in the circle on the offside.
Linda will step across here. They'll try and fly it through the offside. Depends what McElroy bowls him, really. That's all on the off stump, cut away. Will it be 4? It will. It went like a bullet. And the fielder, Billy Root, having no chance on that occasion to cut it off. So another boundary for Kent. 9 off the overs so far. Off at 3.
Like you said, mate, he's strong, man. Very strong.
Yeah, seems it hit as well. Through the offside. Linda moves on then to 22. And the score on to 185 for 6, with 3 balls to come. Looking to go big here again.
It's the 4 single and a 4. 3 balls to come. Yeah, 185.
McElroy's coming round the wicket, I think for the first time this evening, to the left-hander. Linda, the only left-hander in the Kent side, driven straight back at the bowl. It was indeed. And Yorker length, couldn't do anything without Linda. Dot ball. It's keeping his cool. Jamie McElroy having gone for 9 off 3. And Glamorgan batters will be addressing their thoughts very shortly to what they'll have to chase. McElroy around the wicket to left-handed. George Linder feints outside the leg stump, slams it straight back past the bowler. 4 runs. Wasn't given much room with that one either, Mike, was he? But good hand speed. Strong hit.
He's hit that like a tracer bullet as well. McIlroy on his follow-through tried to get a hand on it, and probably part of him is quite glad he didn't.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Let's see what you mean on the replay. Yeah, he's leant down. Oh, no.
Yeah, I want to keep bowling for the next couple of months rather than have a broken hand.
Yeah, might have taken all 5 fingers towards the boundary with it, that one. So final ball of the Kent innings, 189 for 6 they are. Linder will look to go big, and that's a good delivery. Down the leg side, Linder is asking for a wide, but to be fair, he's backed outside the leg stump, and the umpire says that's all fair, and it's a dot ball to end. Linder doesn't like it. He's still chuntering at the umpire under his breath, if not allowed. But 189 for 6. Linder finishes with 26, Stewart with 6, and 190 will be the target for Glamorgan. So we were saying before, it did ebb and flow, that one, Mike Powell, but where do you see the power lying at half-time between these two sides?
I'd be quite happy if I was in the... I'd be quite happy if I was in the Kent change room at the moment. I think, right, runs are on the board. It's a reasonable score down here at Glamorgan. Or I would say, sat on that Glamorgan changing room, right, they didn't absolutely smash around the park for 20 overs. They did reasonably well, and they built an innings. All of a sudden there was a flurry of wickets, and they muscled themselves back in. Glamorgan in the field, not as good as they have been in previous games, so they'll be disappointed with that. Bowling was okay, I think. So I think on balance, I'd probably be sat at the moment in the Kent changing room, but that can change after 10 overs of this game, as we all know.
Obviously the 1 or 2 missed catches as well, which Kieran Carson, you said, excellent fielder, real surprise, but sort of thing you might root. Equally, we saw a fantastic piece of fielding from Sam North East early in the piece, which saved them 4. So
there's obviously the missed catches. We saw them. They ran 3 twos on the bounce to a field that probably should have been singles. There was obviously a missed field up here for another in deep square as well. That hit a bit of rough from the net wickets up there, was unfortunate. So yeah, it wasn't ideal in the field, but it wasn't horrendous by any stretch. But there was enough in there for them to be slightly disappointed with what they produced in the field, I think.
Just looking at Glamorgan so far in the competition, 3 games played, but they have rotated the squad a bit, haven't they? Players have come in and out of that. Does that suggest they don't know their best 11, or they're picking players for situations? Or
no, I think Nick might know a bit more than that than me, but I think it might be there's injuries in there as well. I think students who've got exams and things like that. There's other
Ben Kellaway,
Kellaway. So there's other factors for sort of selection within all that. Obviously, the Ashes and selection for certain players comes into it as well. Of going, right, we need more depth within their squad. But yeah, I think, as you've probably seen with Kent over the years, who win these competitions are usually squad players. What will they take strength from with the fact what Cook did the last game, what Ingram did the last game, the fact that Kieran
You know, the war is still ongoing, the bombing is still happening, people are being displaced, and so therefore we need to raise that awareness so that people don't forget that these things are still happening. It's amazing how people cope.
This isn't over yet. Coming here and seeing people still in those refugee centres, and then there might be another huge wave of refugees because the situation, sadly, in Ukraine isn't improving. That means that our support needs to continue, our solidarity needs to continue as well.
Хочеться на Україну, бо я там виросла, там все моє, все рідне. Те, що все зруйноване і куди буду возвращатися, повертатися, навіть не знаю.
This program is a really helpful, safe, secure route which we need to embrace.
Якщо б можна було, то я би теж хотіла десь туди для того, що я хочу для нього чогось кращого.
We are so fortunate in the UK to have a home, to have peace and quiet.
Була мечта колись раніше поїхати до Великобританії. Там є файні люди, там спокійно, там добре, затишно.
More hosts, more sponsors are needed so that people can come to a safe place.
What an amazing gift you can give to someone who is in a place where they're fleeing something really terrible.
Me personally, I'd quite like it.
Yeah.
If I was playing for Glamorgan, for argument's sake, I had Brendan McCullum with me for my 4-day stuff, and I had Matthew Mott for my 1-day stuff. I've got two brilliant cricket brains, as they've got here at Glamorgan, to pull on all their information and just analyse my technique and see where I can possibly improve. I'd love it.
It's interesting to hear what you're saying about Peter Hatzoglu coming on. Obviously, not expected to be here necessarily during the summer, and overseas players becoming more and more of a premium, I suppose, for the counties, and maybe more with the pressure from franchise cricket around the world as it go on. But Colin Ingram's been here for a few seasons, which is a relative rarity, isn't it?
Ingram is here and wants to settle in Wales eventually. He's got another year after this one. Hatzoglu is here because he was in the country, basically. He was playing in the Essex League, played one game for his club, and Glamorgan were looking to sign someone at very short notice because they didn't know until the end of last week, basically, whether Nisa would be released by the Aussies to play in these first few games. In the end, he wasn't.
But that's the gamble you take, is what Mark Wallace, who's director of cricket here, that's the gamble you take when you're signing players like Nisa, who is on the fringe of that Australian Ashes team. Well, that's obviously you'll take what you're given, really. Yeah. And Nisa, he's a really, really good player. Obviously, Labuschagne speaks for himself, so you know what you're going to get. We're going to get X amount of games from him, and that's it. If you want an overseas for the whole campaign, you don't go near Ashes players.
But that pool is getting smaller and smaller, isn't it, of players that can be available for the whole length of the blast, and it's going to get more and more crowded, it feels, over the next few years, certainly. But good to, as I said, from Glamorgan's point of view, they appear to be a rarity, and Colin Ingram spending so many seasons with them, it's relatively rare anyway.
I think Colin could quite a lot of work with Colin coaching Glamorgan's academy in the winter, and I think that's where Colin probably finds his next job would be ideally either coaching here at Glamorgan or coaching in some shape or form around the world. And he's got so much to offer with the experience that he's had, let alone the player that he is, and the coaches he's worked with and different experiences around the world. He would be a wonderful coach.
And he might just settle down to a farming life in Wales. You never know.
You never know.
You mentioned Michael Hogan in passing. Obviously he's out there warming up at the moment, and I'm not sure he's one that any Kent fans would have thought he'd be playing for Kent this season, having announced his retirement and then unannounced his retirement. But as you said, he had a really good T20 last year and a good 100 as well, didn't he? Almost out of the blue at 40.
Well, I think he only put his name in at the very last moment into the pot for the 100, and that was only because his wife and kids had gone home earlier.
He lives 50. Well, he did when he lived 50 yards from my house, so we see each other every morning taking the kids to school. We're talking about it, and he said he really enjoyed the 100, being involved with that, and he was eyes open going, I quite enjoy working with this coach, I quite enjoy working with different players, and that's all where his appetite to go, hang on, there's a bit more in me here, and on the back of that, his enjoyment with that, he said, I wouldn't mind playing another year or two.
And he's doing some coaching for Kent in the One Day Cup as well, so it's sort of a foot over the other side of the fence, I suppose, in that career.
And you would have spoken quite a lot to him since he's been down there. He's a real calm and influence around the change room, and let alone the player he is. To have someone like that around is brilliant. I think a lot of comparison made to sort of Steve Owen Healer, because he's similar for of age, and they were saying that look, he's he's probably too old and he's past his best. Whatever the reason Kent got rid of him, I'm not aware of that. And they said, why are we swapping him with him? But Steve-O and Hogan are completely different characters, and they bring completely different things to a changing room.
Yeah, Darren Stevenson now is terrorising the Kent Premier League, so he's taken.
Of course, yes. He does that because he's a really good player.
News absolutely right. Yeah.
News of the front runners in the group: Surrey against Gloucestershire. Surrey 123 for 9 with 1 ball left of their innings at Bristol. And Somerset against Middlesex. Middlesex were bowled out for 136 at Taunton, so that looks very much as though 4 wickets for Ben Green, 3 for Josh Davies, so looks very much as though Somerset will be up and flying at the top.
We're about to get back underway for Glamorgan's chase of 190 to win here on BBC Radio Wales and BBC Radio Kent on DAB all around the world via the BBC Sport website and app, of course, and on the Glamorgan stream. Welcome wherever you're listening. The shadows lengthening, I say obviously, as that's what happens when the sun goes down every day. Certainly during the summer it's the most obvious. Joe Denley's going to open up with his spin. I think this is the 3rd time out of 4 games he's done that. Jack Leaning did against Gloucestershire. He's going to bowl to Eddie Byram, and we get underway. A little dab, a little cut down to 3rd, and that is Wes Agar with the curly lock stuffed under his Kent cap. The Australian had only played T20 for Adelaide Strikers before, hasn't played any franchise cricket, but now a Kent Spitfire. That's on leg stump. It was an appeal from Joe Denley. Looked like it was going down, but it's a swing and a miss from Byram, so 2 dot balls to start for the spinner.
Also, one of those appeals to put the batsman off running.
Was no more than that. Here we go, there's the dark arts. Denley to Byram once again. The left-hander goes to sweep that, and Mayeye's coming across the ground pretty quickly, but they'll get a comfortable 2 in the end. It's Byram 97 on his back, swings that one out to mid-wicket and gets underway, gets a score underway. The boundary fielders are Mayeye at a deep mid-wicket, and Jordan Cox just beneath us at long on outside the off stump, and slammed through the offside this time, giving himself room as Byram, and that is the first boundary up, and that looked very comfortable indeed, using his feet well. That's gone through wide long off 4-4.
Yeah, so Byram's found himself at the top of the order here in one-day format, and he's been really aggressive the games that I've watched, almost tipping himself over the edge, so expect to be fireworks in the first 5 overs.
Denley to Byram again, making himself room, but this time ends up with Joey Everson he's the closest fielder in actually, and he's at an extra cover position, so the 2 men out on the leg side for Byram against the leg spin of Joe Denley coming naturally into the left-hander. That goes up in the air and over the circle, a little bit head up, but absolutely throwing everything into that, and it's going to come back via Daniel Bell-Drummond. They run through 4-2. High reward against low risk, that one with the field in on the offside. 8 for none off the first over.
Bowler at the River Taff, Michael Hogan back in his old stomping ground.
How often have we said that over the years? Same number for Kent as he had for Glamorgan. Now in the maroon and navy of Kent with a grin on his face. I think a bit of mock booing.
It must be very strange for a Glamorgan supporter seeing him in a different shirt.
It's relatively cropped hair this season, streamlined, as he'll run in towards us, Michael Hogan, and the umpire waving to, I think, a steward, maybe some northeast, just getting 1 or 2 spectators moving in his eye line, just the side of the tarpaulin. Oh, here comes someone else. No, I think they want the steward to stop them during the overs from the River Taff end. Shadows almost out towards the middle. Glamorgan 8 for 0, 1 over, chasing 190 to win. Hogan bowls for Kent, and northeast for Glamorgan plays it out on the offside. Who'd have thought we'd have seen these 2 in their current shirts a couple of years back.
Sorry if Kent fans are rushing to the far end to try and get up through that gap there as Michael Hogan's bowling, just to try and put the batter off. But yeah, absolutely. Swapping Cardiff for Canterbury, the 2 of them.
Meeting somewhere around Reading services. 8 for 0. No, that's probably not halfway, is it? as Hogan is into bowl to northeast, and he comes. That familiar action, and northeast plays it into the offside, but straight to point, and there's no run. Now northeast, who was Glamorgan's top scorer last season, has not got going at all this season, out for 3 single-figure scores, having got 500 plus last season. And the umpire is signalling again to spectators in that area of the ground at long off to avoid moving, please. 8 for naught Glamorgan after 8 balls. Hogan into bowl to northeast, who hits him over wide mid on. Oh, it's plugged a little bit. It might pull up inside the boundary. Yeah, it's just saved inside the ropes. Northeast is happy to go back for a 3rd run as the throw dribbles in past Hogan. Low risk, Mike, but didn't quite middle it again.
Yeah, he's banged his first 3 deliveries, or his first 2 deliveries in quite short, and northeast was sort of hanging back, waiting for that 3rd delivery to be banged in, and Hogan did exactly that, and he was waiting for that pull shot. Not quite timed, but picked up 3 runs for it.
11 for naught Glamorgan in the 2nd over. They're chasing 190. You're on BBC Sport Online, BBC Radio Kent, BBC Radio Wales. Hogan into the left-handed Byram for the first time. A swing and a miss down the leg side. Oh, I think that's clipped possibly the pad on the way through. Good stop by Billings and not a wide.
Yeah, he thought maybe a bit of pad. You would have thought that would have been signalled wide down there, but 4 dot balls in here so far. With that 3 as well. Sorry,
good start for Hogan.
Good start, Hogan.
On the turf he knows so well, as Byram drives, but toe ends it rather straight to mid on. Hogan's probably still got his bowling paint marked on the outfield from last season. Byram 8, northeast 3. So Hogan doing a job against his former side in this first over, as Byram faces up to him. And Byram drives into the offside, wants a single. Oh, there's trouble here for northeast. If it hits, it didn't. 12 for naught at the end of 2 overs. That was just a little bit desperate, that run, Mike Powell.
Yeah, sort of a mistimed cover through cover there, but nice pick up. Needed a direct hit, didn't quite get it. Billings scampering round to tidy up behind the stumps, but yeah, just the 4 runs coming from Hogan's first over. Good start for him, a good start for Kent.
Yeah, Everson sharp in the field there, but it bounced, I don't know, about 3-4 feet, didn't it, in front of the wicket, giving Sam Billings no chance to take the bails off. Need to be a direct hit, as he says. So here's Wes Agar. Trying to explain, well, I'm trying to work out with him how he ended up not going back to Australia and staying at Kent, but he was basically doing a bit of sightseeing and delayed his flight back, and Kane Richardson was unwell on Tuesday, found himself as a Spitfire with an extra couple of months on his contract as well. This one's whipped away though, new contract or not, and that'll be 4 runs. Byram going big, shortish ball through the offside though, and that's a lovely shot. Carries the field, 4 runs.
Yeah, he's batted like this all the way through. Just absolutely free-spirited, free swing of the bat, and he throws it at absolutely everything.
Different to his championship.
Completely different.
Yeah, kitchen sink at that, but yeah, lovely contact. Daniel Drummond comes back from fielding the ball on the boundary. That's a good ball from Agar's, chasing down the leg side a little bit, and Byram ends up almost next to the square leg umpire. I exaggerate, but he's backed a long way outside there. Agar's followed him through the wicketkeeper. Dot ball. He's got a bit of pace about him, Wes Agar, a little bit quicker than anything else in the Kent lineup. And 3 for 18 on his Spitfires debut. So played the opening rounds of the county championship. That was due to be it for him. He was still in England, and negotiations went on. Took over Kane Richardson's place on Tuesday and again today. To Byram now, long handle, that'll be 4 runs at least. No, that'll be 6. And that's a long part of the ground as well, over mid-wicket, and dispatched by Eddie Byram for 6 runs.
Yeah, Byram advancing down the wicket, give himself a little bit of room. Agar following him, what a shot, picking that ball up. It's a long strike, that's 20 yards over the boundary rope, with long on, wide long on.
You say it looks like a good pitch, doesn't it, in that he's confident enough to swing through that and making a really good contact, but Is 190 going to be enough, I wonder? Here's Agar to Byram. Good length ball this one, but cut away. Is it going to be fielded? No. Daniel Bell Drummond coming round the boundary at just backward point, but it wasn't very far around the clock face either, and that's gone scorching across the turf. Quick outfield, really well hit though, absolutely middle for 4 runs.
Another boundary, 14 runs from this over already so far.
14 off the 4, and the crowd have been roused by that, certainly. 26 for none here in the 3rd over on BBC Radio Wales and BBC Radio Kent, on DAB and online. It's Agar to bowl. Oh, that hit the guard, I think. It's hit him. A bouncer. Something's hit the ground.
Something's fallen off next to the stumps.
It's the back of his helmet, it is.
Is it the back of the helmet? It's the protection, the stem guard.
Yeah. So now the physio has to come on, change your helmet, and check that he's okay.
More at the oh no, he has turned. He's turned into it. Yeah.
Well, he's quite lucky that hasn't fallen onto his stumps.
Yeah, he is lucky.
Well, the stem guard doing its job there as well, you'd say.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's absolutely fine, but protocol says physio has to come on, check for concussion.
The checking concussion.
He's always just rubbing the side of his neck there.
To check the integrity of the batting helmet as well. They had to make sure it's still okay. But if the guards just come off, presumably they can replace that or put it back on. But sharp delivery from Wes Agar. It is a dot ball.
Is that the back bit that Steve Smith was told off for not having when he batted for Sussex the first time? Had to go and change part of his
protocol
helmet.
now. We certainly had a championship game where a batter came out without it, and there was a delay. I can't remember which. It was one of the batters at Canterbury in the county championship, and the umpires quite rightly said just not safely attired, basically. So a little bit of stop here. The physio is chatting to Eddie Byram. He's just keen to get the batting helmet back on. He's reattaching the stem guard now onto the back of the helmet. This protects the neck either side, and he'll be back in short order, I think. And I gather for concussion protocols that players are asked before the season started a series of questions, which sounds almost ridiculous, but they have to get. But it's
the same in rugby. You get a level. So one of the systems have where you have to repeat a series of numbers. So they find out where you are. So if you're not very good at it, remembering things, well, that's fine. That's just your level. And then other people might be above that.
I went through the rugby ones once at the stadium. They're quite difficult. I mean, who did you play last week? I can't remember who I commentated on last week.
But obviously, if they know that, they can't remember. They have to set a lower level. But yeah, there is definite sense to it. So this last ball of this 3rd over then, with Agar bowling over the wicket to Byram, goes short again. Oh, it's gone over the top. It's a thickish edge for 6. Goodness me. He's looked to power that back, well, perhaps over the bowler's head. It's gone over the wicket-keeper's head, and for 6 he's hit it so hard. Such a hard swing. But that last delivery has gone for 6, and that is 20 off the over. What a strange and exciting over that was indeed. 32 for none off 3, and Eddie Byram is absolutely flying. So to the ball.
Yeah, that's put Kent in a great position. Glamorgan in a great position, Kent not so. 20 off. Those kind of overs really push you forward without stating the obvious. So 32 for none.
Are you going to have one of those moments like when we have Tony Cottee on a Glamorgan Sussex game where he says we for whoever's winning?
All right. No.
He's been known to swap during the course of a game. Tony is with us on Sunday, by the way, at Hove alongside Kenneth Davis and myself at 2:30. Do tune in. Kent at home to Surrey on Sunday. As Stewart bowls down leg side, northeast glances it away for 4 runs. That's his first boundary.
But in fairness to Cots, he left Glamorgan and he stayed there.
Yeah.
And 25 years later, he's still down there.
I wouldn't call the River Taff too much for you, despite the wonders of Canterbury.
36 for naught.
I say that with no side or bitterness at all.
Northeast has 7, Byram has 29. As Stewart is in to bowl, Northeast plays that through the offside, but finds the sweeper on the cover boundary. Just the single this time, 37 without loss. Kent were 63 for naught in the power play overs. They were 98 for 2 at halfway. and there was a bit of late acceleration as well, with 42 coming off the last 3 overs. So it's the spinners who did the best job for Glamorgan. Hatzoglu and Sisodia claimed a couple of wickets each and were economical. Douthwaite claimed a couple of wickets and was not economical. 37 for naught. Stewart to the left-handed Byram, who gives himself room and pulls one over wide, long on for 6. 43 for naught.
Yeah, lovely shot. They're very similar to the previous over. We sort of dragged it over long on for 6. Billings sprinted up from his position at keeper straight up to the bowler for a bit of a chat. Possibly wants to do a change of field, change of angle. Yes, he's bringing his. He's trying to signal to the deep point to bring him up into cover. He's moving his mid-wicket now out onto the boundary. So he's got a deep square and a deep mid-wicket. So there's 2 outfielders. The ring field for everyone else beyond that.
43 for naught. Stewart to Byram, who pits that one through the offside for 4 runs, just past a diving Denley at cover, and it flashes away for 4. Glamorgan 47 for naught, and they are matching the Kent power play at the moment.
Kent cannot wait for these 6 overs to be over so they can relax their fielders and get them out on the boundary, just get a little bit of cover. At the moment they look really vulnerable the way Byron's playing. 39 from his 17 balls that he's faced. North East doesn't face a lot. He's the 5 deliveries, 8 to his name at the moment.
Yeah, Glamorgan, well, they'll have to keep going. It is quite a long chase of 190 at 9.5 runs and over, as Stewart is in to bowl. Byram tries the ramp and he's got 4 more. 1 bounce into the ropes, virtually behind the keeper. 50 up for Glamorgan inside the 4th over on this sun-soaked, run-soaked night.
Absolutely racing along at the moment. Byron, dangerous play, all going his way. Every ball seems to be at the middle of his bat.
He's getting away with things, Eddie Byram. He's on 43 off 18 deliveries. But then, having seen Chris Cook and Colin Ingram in action earlier in the week, and used to big hitting from Glamorgan, can Byram keep it going? As he has drilled that one towards mid-on, and he is caught. No, he can't keep it going. 51 for 1. Byram goes for 43.
Yes, not a bad bit of bowling there, nice and full. They just squeezed that out, Byram, and unfortunately for him, just chipped it to a comfortable catch to, I think it was Cox there at mid-on. It's exactly what Kent needed, just to calm things down. Bit of a structure back into their fielding performance at the moment. It was all going Glamorgan. Dangerous Kieran Carlson has found his way to the crease now. Has been threatening with a bat in this competition without really producing a big score yet. Could this be his night?
Innings of 35, 31 and 16 for Kieran Carlson. Just to give you the rest of their batting order, Colin Ingram will presumably be next in. Chris Cook is slated at 5, probably Dan Douthwaite at 6, Billy Root, Zain Ul Hassan, Peter Hatzoglu, Prem Sisodia and Jamie McIlroy.
So looks like Joe Denley is going to bowl the 5th here, so pace off again for Kent. Sam North East to face Kieran Carlson at the other end, and they will be very happy to see the say goodbye to Byram. 43 off 19 balls, 5 4s and 3 very big 6s indeed here at Sapphire Gardens. Then he comes over the wicket with his leg spinners then to the right-handed North East, and he's punched that away through the onside. Any chance of Jordan Cox? No. And he gave a dive at it. Lean was in close association, but that's gone to the boundary, and perhaps where Eddie Byram has left off. Sam North East is going to continue.
As a batter, it really takes the pressure off when you find a boundary on the first ball of the over.
They're going at quite a rate at this point. Glamorgan 55 for 1 at the start of the 5th over. Just a little nudge to square leg this time from North East. Off the second ball of the over from his former teammate Joe Denley. And Kieran Carlson will face his first ball here. 56 for 1. I think there's some kind of chant going on. Is there? I can't really make out what it is.
Yeah, you don't much of an excuse for a sing-song in this part of the world.
That's a good point. I don't like to stereotype, but no, it's true. In good voice. Denley over the wicket, seeing their side, pounding the ball away to the boundary as well. That was more caressed through by Carlson. That's a lovely shot through the covers. Hogan stretching to get there. He won't. Oh, there he goes. Oh, that is brilliant from Michael Hogan. He's 41, you know. He's diving Superman-like to get that ball. He's just scooped it back just inside the boundary. Miyeye completes the fielding, and that's 3 for Carlson. They've saved 1 there, but that's some fantastic work, isn't it?
What about that for the old man?
Well,
unbelievable.
He's got hands on knees now. I think he'd be a bit puffed out. I certainly would be. What's going to be an appeal there? A little bit of bat on it, perhaps?
Possibly. Looked pretty straight, didn't it?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of bat in there.
Through into the offside from North East. A dot ball, though. Which will be a huge relief on this onslaught from this Glamorgan batting lineup so far. Denley to North East. Engineers that into the onside. Single taken out towards Jack leaning at mid-wicket. Is that Oh Glammy Glammy by any chance? Yeah.
Quite probably.
Yes, they are. Recognising that song. Here's Denley then to Carlson. Last ball of the 5th. 60 for 1 for Glamorgan so far. Down the wicket comes Carlson, this time at Michael Hogan at mid-off. Not quite spectacular fielding, but there's only going to be 1 anyway. 61 for 1 then off 5. Glamorgan needing 190 in total to win. They're above the required rate at the moment, going along very nicely. The 1 man to go so far. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio Wales and on BBC Radio Kent on DAB and online, it's Eddie Barham caught by Jordan Cox. Bowled by by Grant Stewart rather, for 43 off 18 balls. A fine inning. He's got off to a great start.
Yeah, another good over Glamorgan there. Double figures again coming from Denley's over. Hogan back onto bowl from the River Tough and just trying to slow things down. And find some dot balls from somewhere.
Yeah, Hogan, the man to deliver them. His first over course, just 4 runs, and here he is bowling to Kieran Carlson and hits him on the pad, and they'll scamper through for a leg by Carlson. Was unusually a bit slow off the mark there, better on the back foot, and eventually got home. 62 for 1, and Glamorgan will have, well, their batters will have faced Michael Hogan a lot in the nets over the years. They'll know what he does. The trouble is trying to get him away, even if you know what's coming. As he just sticks to the simple virtues, really, in T20 cricket. There's not vast amounts of variation, just fiendishly accurate usually. So that's driven back to him on the bounce by North East. Crowds think it's a catch.
Was it? The way Michael Hogan so reacted
there. Well, I just thought it instantly that it was a Friday night.
No. It was a catch.
It was a catch. Oh, stuck out the right hand in the follow-through. Well spotted, Mike. So North East is put down on 14. Return chance to Michael Hogan. 62 for 1. Hogan in. Bowls. North East hits it over mid-off. No, he's going to be caught. He is caught. Hogan has got his man. North East has gone for 14. Got rather too much underneath it, and Glamorgan lose 2 in quick succession. Thought North East had managed to clear the fielder there, but well judged by the man Jordan Cox to pouch his second catch.
Yeah, didn't quite get enough of that, obviously. North East chipped the ball up, but fairness of Cox, good catch, running away over his shoulder, sun in his eyes, so not a bad catch as well. Again, Hogan delivers.
As Colin Ingram will attempt to deliver for Glamorgan, another man of great experience as he jogs on from the dugouts, which is just down to our left in front of the cricket school. And Glamorgan at 62 for 2. Well, they've still got a long way to go chasing 190.
What's the combined age, Nick? Give us the maths.
Of who now?
Hogan bowling, Ingram facing.
79.
Brilliant.
Hogan's 42nd birthday was earlier in the week. Ingram's 37.
It's a young man game.
62 for 2, Glamorgan in the 6th over, chasing 190 to win, as Michael Hogan, the former Glamorgan favourite, is in to bowl to Colin Ingram, the current Glamorgan favourite, who's off the mark just nudging one down to square leg for a single first ball. So Glamorgan starting with a blast from Eddie Byram. He pummeled 3 6s and 5 4s, hit 43 off 19 balls before he drilled one to mid-on, and just earlier in this over, Michael Hogan took his first wicket in Cardiff in Kent colours, having Sam North East caught at long off. Here's Hogan to Carlson, straightens him up. Carlson is cramped for room and just plays it gently to mid-on. There's no run. 63 for 2. Last ball of the power play coming up. Hogan, 11 balls, conceded just 6 runs, so he really is doing a job for his new side tonight. Kieran Carlson 5, Colin Ingram 1, the batters at the wicket at the moment. Here is Hogan to bowl, and Carlson hoiks it away to square leg along the ground. Single taken. 64 for 2 at the end of the power play. Kent were 63 without loss. Just a little bit of momentum with the visitors, Mike Powell.
Yeah, 2 dangerous players out there, though. Kieran Carlson, we said earlier, he's at the form of his life in the 4-day cricket. He is bubbling under the surface in this T20 competition without really coming out with a real score. But I think one's just round the corner for him. Could it be tonight? Colin Ingram, again, year in, year out for the club, has been amazing. Again, good score for him last game against Middlesex, along with Cook. Was it a record partnership, Nick?
Yeah, record partnership for Glamorgan in T20, 187 they put on.
So coming in obviously into this game here is in great form, so let's see what he's got for us tonight.
So it'll be George Linder first over outside the power play to Kieran Carlson. Left arm round the wicket. Slow approach, bowls now, and it's driven through the offside by Carlson, going as far as Muyeye on the point boundary, takes a single. So with pace off the ball, it'll be interesting to see what George Linder can do here for Kent, as the spin bowlers seem to take the momentum out of Kent's innings, mid-innings. As Jordan Cox is moved over, as the batter's moved over, in fact, of course, to Colin Ingram, who has 1. Jordan Cox is now having taken 2 catches, the 2 wickets to fall at long on. There's Linder then to Ingram. Ingram, back foot. There's a nudge past the bowler, and will take a single up to Cox, who comes running in from the boundary. Little sighter, it looked like, from Colin Ingram. There's no real aggressive intent in that.
No, what he does do very well, Ingram, he actually gives himself a little bit of time. He's not really one to come straight out, blast in and playing many shots from ball 1. He'll give himself 10-15 balls, and then all of a sudden from nowhere he'll flick a switch and away he goes.
So Linder, once again, this slow approach. So it's a swing and a miss, or a sweep and a miss from Kieran Carlson. Looked a bit untidy, always does when you miss a sweep. But half-hearted appeal, but certainly a dot ball. It always looked like it was going down leg. 66 for 2. Not straightening enough, that's for sure. Not a dot ball. Gold dust for Kent at the moment, outside the power play as well, trying to slow things down. It's cut away out towards Muyeye. High on the bat in the end for Carlson. Couldn't get enough room on it. Single taken out to Muyeye on the point boundary. Field changes over against. He's going to. Joe Denley was flying one side to the other. He's now come back to the position he was. The mirror image of the field, of course, now to Colin Ingram. On 2, he takes a look around the field now. Linder, 3 off this over so far with 4 balls gone. Ingram, almost a half sweep down to Muyeye, this time at backward square leg. Just 1 taken, but we know what Ingram can do. He's the sort of player that I suppose can give himself time, Mike.
Yeah, he does. He hits the ball so far and so hard. He obviously has the right to do it, and he just gets his eye in, gets a pace of the wicket, and then away he goes.
Linder, last ball of the 7th then, just 4 off it so far. Bowling to Carlson, who's chopped that one onto his foot, trying to get the ball away on the offside. That's another dot ball. Good start from Linder. Bit of a slowdown for Kent, exactly what they needed, especially after Glamorgan were herring away in the first 4 overs with Eddie Byram looking to take them apart in the power play. The first one after it goes for just 4 runs. 68 for 2, Glamorgan off 7.
Yeah, well, look, we've changed the ball again. Hogan's come off. River Taff end.
Looks like Jack leaning, so
Leaning,
yes,
you're right.
double spin now, yeah.
So the 6th bowler used by Kent in just the 8th over.
Oh, someone's brought a trumpet.
What's Leaning expected to bowl, Matt?
Off spin.
Off spin, right.
Yeah.
He was listed as
Tidy.
fast medium in the
Oh, really?
listing that I saw, which is obviously incorrect from his approach,
That'd be a push.
as his first delivery is defended by Ingram to short cover and there's no run.
Crikey, yeah, I haven't seen him bowl fast medium, but I'll be excited to.
Then he comes around the wicket and Ingram works one away on the leg side for a single. 69 for 2 Glamorgan, chasing 190 for victory. So they're slightly behind the run rate and they've got 2 relatively new batters. Kieran Carlson 8 off 9 deliveries, needs to fire up fairly soon. As Leaning is in to bowl. Carlson down the wicket, hits inside out towards long off. He's got away with it. It plugs just wide of the fielder. It was up in the air a very long time and they're back for 2 runs.
Yeah, he gave himself a little bit of room to the leg side, trying to get that ball up and over. Extra cover, actually did a bit straighter than he actually wanted to, and Hogan for a moment there was in the game for a catch.
71 for 2. Reverse comes out from Carlson. Appeal for LBW from Leaning. As Kent then bring round a fielder to point to cut off that reverse sweep if he nails one. So Carlson clips one away on the leg side and takes a single. 72 for 2. 4 off 5 balls so far. Kent's over as we're rattling through them. Kent, like Glamorgan, look as if they're going to bowl a fair amount of spin. Ingram cuts, so he's nailed that one through the offside, just past backward point, and there was nothing that the man on the point boundary, Mwewe, could do about it. 76 for 2 then after 8 overs.
Yeah, was needed that shot there, last ball of the over up until that point. Just 4 runs coming from it, but obviously doubled that up with that shot from Ingram back with a point, get himself a little bit of room.
Comparison's pretty much neck and neck after 8 overs. Kent 75 for 1, 76 for 2 for Glamorgan at this point. Going to slow down mid-innings, losing those 3 wickets for 10 in 10 balls. Denley will he? No, he won't. Another change. Denley was going to come back in for Linda. Instead, Kent are just changing bowler every over. So Grant Stewart 1 for 19 off his 1 so far. Did go for a pile from Eddie Byram, but eventually got the ball found the ball that got him out, courtesy of a catch from Jordan Cox. Sam Billings is directing traffic behind the wicket as normal. Stewart bowls. It's a punch. That is 6 runs. That's huge. Goodness me, almost baseball style in the end from Kieran Carlson. As Mike Powell beside me said, got it, you're absolutely right. Absolutely middled it. He's crushed that into the crowd. Over long on. Jordan Cox is a good fielder. He's not getting anywhere near that.
No. It was almost baseball style, that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Stand and deliver.
Absolutely right. And so Grant Stewart, again, with Eddie Byram, finds himself trying to find the deliveries that are going to stay at least on the square. As Carlson has absolutely crushed it. Here's Stewart down the leg side. Oh,
what a catch!
What a catch! Wes Agar at fine leg. He's got no reason to be getting onto that. He's clipped it behind square, Carlson, and Agar has off his feet to his left, grabs it with the left hand out of the air. I'm not quite sure how. 82 for 3. That is an absolute corker from Wes Agar. Looks even more unlikely on the replay, frankly. Fantastic grab. 82 for 3.
That's unbelievable. That's a metre off the ground, full stretch. Again, not to his non-dominant hand, he's caught that in. Unbelievable catch.
Kieran Carlson marching back, shaking his head, and well, he won't probably get out to a finer catch than that this season.
So Stewart has 2 wickets. I think he owes a pint to each of Jordan Cox and certainly probably a full round to Wes Agar there. Superb catch. Well, we're finding out new things about Wes Agar almost every time he plays. Had no idea he had that in his locker. We'll find out afterwards whether he did either, but astonishing catch, 82 for 3.
Well, this brings Chris Cook to the wicket now. This is the partnership. This is the one they need to break. These two players, if they're anywhere near the end of this 20 overs and these two are batting, or even one of these is still batting, Glamorgan are winning this game.
Yeah, so Kieran Carlson goes, and these two shared that record stand against Middlesex. I think Chris Cook's second 50, is that right? Came in 12 balls,
yep.
Something ridiculous. Yep. I'll be happy for more of that. He faces Stewart now, shortish ball outside the off stump, and he just cushions that into the onside. It's thrown back in by Daniel Bell-Drummond, and that is a single taken. The sort of catch that can change momentum, but it brings a very dangerous partnership together. Obviously, Kent won't think they're out of the woods, my pal.
I mean, we were talking off here start of this game. For me, I'll come back to if I don't finish this sentence. Colin Ingram is Glamorgan's best ever one-day batsman. Stats, the given. For Glamorgan, he is the best we've ever had.
And facing Stewart now into the offside off the back foot. Daniel Bell-Drummond will field. Just takes a single this time. 84 for 3. He's one of those, a bit like Darren Stevens, the aforementioned, that I'm sure when anybody comes to Cardiff or Glamorgan go anywhere, the opposition reporters will say he always scores runs against us.
Yeah.
And there's a good reason for that.
Yeah, there's a few clubs saying that.
Exactly. It's a long list for Colin Ingram. Has form, no doubt about that. Stewart to Cook now, straight drive back past the bowler, along the ground, pretty gently in the context of T20 blast, but having a side to himself. Cox fields for a single.
And there's an argument that Cook is Morgan's best ever keeper batsman. Man averages 40 in 4-day cricket, and God knows how many games he's won for Glamorgan in one-day cricket with the bat. So there's a strong argument put forward. These two are, would be in Glamorgan's best ever one-day team.
Stewart to Ingram, finds a gap in the onside. They might come back for 2 here. They do. Quickly run by Cook. It's a long way in for Joey Everson. He's not getting that, just as Kent did. They're farming at the areas on the leg side with the gaps in, and that'll end the over with 2. In fact, it's not a bad one off the bat in the end, is it? So 11 off it, but the wicket of Kieran Carlson care of that astonishing catch from Wes Agar.
Yeah, I mean, I interviewed both these after their magnificent innings at Northwood on Wednesday, and asked about recovery between matches and a hectic schedule, and both of them unprompted, and I wasn't getting them to say that because I was interviewing those two, but both of them referenced their ages. I thought, well, it's tiring enough, and I'm sure Matt will back me up on this. It's tiring enough driving around the country and sitting on our back ends and talking about cricket, let alone actually having to run round for 3 hours in the middle. 87 for 3, last ball of the last over the first half, and it's another new bowler, Joey Everson. Short, pulled away by Cook, 4 runs down to backward square, something of a gimme from Everson first up.
Absolute gift there, short down leg side, and Cook, the form he's in at the moment, nothing more of an invite than that to hit the boundary. It's really dangerous. The first and last ball of the over are the most important deliveries. Get out the over if he's doing well, great, and start the over really, really well. It sounds an obvious thing to say, but it's so important to get right.
91 for 3, Everson bowls again, slightly slower, and Cook plays it along the ground up to long off. At one point last season, Everson played against Glamorgan for 2 different counties in, I think, successive games, certainly within a few weeks, Leicestershire and Notts. Now with Kent.
So my point being about that first ball of the over going for a boundary, all of a sudden, so they need 9 runs over. If you're going 4 first up, it's almost singles from there on in.
And just
easy.
Take what comes along almost.
Yeah, it's very little pressure.
92 for 3. Everson to Ingram, wide outside, off stump, and that was almost Ingram losing his footing there. They did get the wide, but for a moment I thought Ingram might have toppled over forwards. Thankfully he kept his equilibrium just about as Billings went to whip off the bails. 93 for 3. Target is 190, so Glamorgan are almost halfway there in almost half the overs as Ingram straight drives back down the ground. Cook had to turn and make his ground in case he was run out, so that prevented them from any chance of coming back for a second. 94 for 3. The beer pumps have obviously been in full use underneath the stand. The crowd are getting noisier and noisier. 94 for 3. Glamorgan chasing 190. We're in the 10th of the 20. Everson bowls to Cook, who plays one away on the offside and will take the single. 95 for 3. Cook to 8. Ingram 12. The batting to come. Douthwaite, Root, Ul Hassan, Hatzoglu, Sisodia and McIlroy. And if you'd said at the beginning of the season that those 4 would be the bottom ones in the order, you might have had a few questions. Oh, that's huge from Ingram. That is huge. Over square leg, launched away into the grandstand. And that is a swing in style from Colin Ingram to bring up the 100 in this 10th over. It was just outside leg stump and Ingram needed no second invitation.
Yeah, just drifting onto Ingram's leg stump there, and he's just picked that up, and that's cleared the boundary by 20 yards. What a shot. He's strong man.
Huge. Everson picks himself up and has another go, and Ingram hits this one into the offside. He'll pick up at least a couple. He'll pick up 4 as Mayeye sprawls in vain on the backward point boundary. 105 for 3 then. Glamorgan at halfway chasing 190 for victory.
Yeah, it's all Glamorgan at the moment. These 2 out there looking very, very dangerous. Need to break this partnership, need a wicket, need some dot balls. So you can string some dot balls together and make a huge difference. Possibly that could be what will buy them a wicket. But Billings on a bit of a conference there with his bowlers, trying to find some sort of plan to come up with and get rid of these 2 dangerous players in great form of their lives at the moment.
There's a big ask for Kent at this point, and Glamorgan are favourites despite needing 8.5 and over. That doesn't look that challenging. They're going at 10.5 off the first 10. As you say, might absolutely need wickets, Kent, and quickly here to stop the bleeding, as it were. And it's good delivery from Agar, rising viciously up towards the elbow of Chris Cook, but he keeps it down well into the onside and gets himself a single off it, so 1 off the first ball.
What would Billings do now for another Hogan? Another player of that skill and experience. Just to lean on him, try and get 4 tight overs from someone like him again. Once he'd be finding that the seam still seems to be clicking. Everson 18 runs from his first over.
Yeah, Stewart, though he has 2 wickets, has been expensive as well, hasn't he? And Agar, with 20 off his first one, Byram took a liking to him. Colin Ingram pulling down, actually, I thought it was going to be a hook, but actually kept it low out towards Tuanda Mayeye on the square leg boundary. Single's been taken. They are in 5 voice now. The
Calon Lan sang now.
The Sophia Gardens Choir. 107 for 3. And Glamorgan at the moment favourites to win this one, unless Kent can find a wicket, probably 2 quick wickets here. Again, it's a good rising delivery from Agar, and Cooks just have to see that off his visor more or less.
Well, he's gloved him then. He just slightly back to a length, raised a bit extra pace, bit of extra bounce.
I was going to say he's got a bit of something extra in terms of pace with Agar to the rest of the Kent attack, just to surprise the batters, but these 2 could well be looking at taking Glamorgan home to another victory here. Cook 9 from 7 so far, playing within himself. He goes for this one though, pulls it, 1 bounce. Was aerial for a bit, safe enough as leaning came in from the boundary. Looks like he has just, I'd say, pulled out of that pull, but kept it gentle anyway. 1 bounce to leaning, just a single there, but they're well above the required rate here, so there's no need for any theatrics, although I'm sure Colin Ingram will pick a ball that he likes. 23 from 12. Not quite sure how he's got there. Hitting the ball very hard, I think, is the answer. It's Agar to the left hand down the leg side, and it grubs along the ground. It's definitely wide. Just wipes his forehead on his right sleeve, does Wes Agar. Trying something there, maybe taking pace off. It's ended up with a wide down the leg side. As you say, looking for control somewhere here, Mike, and
Yeah,
really only Hogan's given it to him so far.
just not helping themselves at the moment.
109 for 3 then. Agar bowling to Ingram over the wicket. And just decent delivery, that one. And Ingram on the back foot just plays it straight back to Agar, and there's no run. Kent have missed Fred Clarkson, leading wicket taker in 2021. He's been away from the squad for personal reasons for this first part of the T20. No Kane Richardson either, has missed the last 2 games as Agar's come in to replace him. So you just wonder this year if they're lacking. Well, Adam Milne would be lovely for any team, wouldn't he? But maybe Case Ahmad as well, not available for them this year either. What can Kent's overseas do this time? Agar, it's going to be 4 runs, is it, through his fine leg. It's pulled away low and just straying on leg stump again, and Ingram quickly on it, 4 runs, and that's over again from Wes Agar. An expensive one. Kent can't afford it at the moment. Glamorgan got their sights very much on victory here. First boundary off the over, but that's gone for 8 in total, and that keeps them up with a rate.
Yeah, shame up until that point. It wasn't a bad set. It was just the last ball of the over again, strained down leg side, a little bit short. Gift for a batter of Ingram's quality to put that away. So yeah, shame. Need to get out your over quietly.
77 needed off 9 overs by Glamorgan. The required run rate, the board tells us, is 8.6. Jack Leaning will bowl another over of off-spin from the River Taff end as the sun is set now on the whole playing arena, just illuminating a few in the grandstand, and Cook drives his first ball all along the ground up to long on for a single. 114 for 3. Do Kent maybe gamble and bowl Hogan a little bit earlier than planned to try and stop Glamorgan's progress? Otherwise,
yeah, well, he's a trump card, isn't he? And you don't want to use it too early, but yeah,
or too late.
Yeah, or too late for the game's gone.
Ingram hits inside out, over, extra cover for 4 runs. 1 bounce just inside the ropes away. The flamethrowers on that pavilion side of the ground. Ingram launching into that one. Thought for a moment the fielder Muyeye might be in business on the ropes, but he's had a lot of running to do on that pavilion side of the ground to under Muyeye.
I agree, but Hogan's the only one in the Kent outfit tonight who's shown some sort of control.
Leaning to Ingram, who steers that one through the offside for a single. Ingram to 32, 119 for 3.
So what has he got left? How many Hogan's got left?
2 left, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, just bowled 2 in the power play for 1 for 7.
Leaning bowls, and Cook watchfully plays it up to long on for a single. 120 for 3. Cook to 12. Glamorgan content, as Mike was saying, to once they've got the boundary in the over, they're happy to knock the singles around, because that is what they need. Leaning to Ingram, hits it over short fine leg for 4. Didn't quite get all of it, I don't think, but knew that fine leg was up in the circle and got enough of it for it to race away to the ropes.
Yeah, slightly angled down leg side, but Ingram, you can see there with this bat on the replay, you can see him just purposely lifting that ball up on the man at 45. He's in one of those moods, isn't he?
124 for 3. Ingram to 36. Leaning bowls. Ingram pulls, and we'll get 4 more down towards backward square. Bit of a drag down from Leaning, and Ingram latched onto it and smashed it away for another boundary. And Glamorgan power on to 128 for 3 in 12 overs, needing therefore 72 off 8. I think 62 off 8. I thought that sounded a little bit too much. Apologies for that. 62 off 8, so the required run rate is under 8 and over. And Ingram and Cook are again looking good at the moment.
Yeah, they're looking more than good. It looks really easy for Glamorgan out there. Billings on the top of his mark there, having a chat with Lindell, coming up with some sort of plan, getting his field absolutely right so he gets himself back behind the stumps, put his helmet on. When does he lean towards Hogan? Do you leave him too late? At the moment, Glamorgan are cruising this.
Yeah, Linda went for just 4 off his 1 over so far, but it was just outside the power play, wasn't it? I don't think there was any really aggressive intent of these two. Well, Cook is playing a cameo role at the moment to Ingram on 40, but we know what he can do as well. Chris Cook faces now, cuts away, and that'll be to the offside boundary and fielded by Tawanda Miyeye. But Ingram, it's that 40 off 18 balls, and it's looked pretty effortless as well. Not taking chances, has he? We haven't seen any thick edges or anything. He's been just dominating.
He is one of those players you just look up and he's got a score to his name. Think, where'd that come from?
Yeah. 6 4s, 1 6 so far. He's punishing the good balls as well, the bad ones. Left-handed Linda will come over the wicket then to Ingram. Rocks back, punches that into the onside. They'll come back for 2 here. Cook's running to the danger end. Everson goes to the far end. It ends up where it's somewhere in the middle, so it wasn't threatening either of them. Comfortable 2 in the end. Ingram goes on to 42. His strike rate's up above 200 at this point. Just wondering what his career strike rate is in 2020s. 137, that's not bad, considering he's played 326 matches, is it? Crikey. Well, the proof of the pudding is right in front of us here as he whips that one away between the field and the onside, and that is absolutely shows his dominance there. Linda's tried something different. He's dropped a little bit short, but not that much short. It's popped up for Ingram, and almost, again, doesn't look like he's powering that stroke, but he's whipped it away so quickly with the wrists. It's gone for 4. Just
Fast hands in there, isn't he? He's whipped that through to the leg side. A little bit short from the bowler, but he was on it so quickly.
I was going to say, it's shortish, but it's not a terrible ball, is it? He's still got a lot to do with it. Make it look easy. 4 more. Linda over the wicket to Ingram. For once, he's mishit that. He's chopped it into the ground. Well, that's a big victory for Kent right there. There's a dot ball. Linda's gone for 7 from this over. I mean, they would crave another couple of dots here to put any kind of pressure on, but at the moment, again, this over is just about up on the required rate anyway, even if Ingram were to leave these 2 balls, but he's 4 of his 50 here, and again, it's that punch into the onside. They look for 2. It's gone short of Everson. This time Everson gets to it a little bit too quickly for their liking, so they've just taken the 1. So 8 off the over, 1 to come. Chris Cook on strike. Somebody's turning to his second overseas to try and find a wicket here, but it just doesn't look like it's happening, does it, Mike, at the moment?
No.
I wonder when they might break the glass and bring out Michael Hogan for emergencies. Round the wicket to Cook then. Cook, wristy into the onside. Will they look for 2 here? They won't. They don't need it either. So it is 9 off the over. That's enough for Glamorgan, and they've done it without breaking a sweat. 137 for 3.
Yeah, and that's the problem Kent have got at the moment, is the fact that they are finding the boundary, not really forcing, trying to find a boundary. That's hitting what's on off, and in between that they're running very well.
Hogan.
Here we are. This is the gamble button for Billings here. Can't leave it too late. Just require waves, just a 7.5, which is very easy for these 2 at the moment. Look, Hogan's on it to get a wicket. He needs one of these out.
53 needed off 7 overs. If Glamorgan takes 6 or 7 runs off Hogan over without losing the wicket, then that's their aim, you would have thought.
They've earned the right to play Hogan reasonably sensibly, risk-free. Hogan's job here, can he get a wicket for his team?
Cook is on strike on 14. 2 batters he'll know very well from playing with them and netting with them, as Cook has pulled that one round down towards backward square. They'll turn and come back for the second and get there comfortably as Billings takes the return and threatens to throw at the non-striker's end, but both batters were home. 139 for 3, so Glamorgan can afford singles for the rest of this over against Kent's main man, Michael Hogan.
Lights just starting to take effect.
Yeah, and the in-between time. 139 for 3 as Cook plays one away on the leg side. They'll think about 2 because it's played fairly gently. Now they decide against it. They have enough in the bank, Glamorgan, maybe not to take unnecessary risks, as Hogan gesturing to his fielders, making sure he's got everyone where he wants them, with the right-left combination for Glamorgan. Sun has gone off 3/4 of the grandstand now as well. Lovely sunset. 140 for 3. Hogan bowls. Ingram works one just down to fine leg for a single. 141 for 3. And it is the approach that we suspected they might take against Hogan.
Yeah, it's sensible, isn't it? It's not how you win the game, it's winning the game, isn't it? And if it means managing their best bowler and getting 6, 7, 8 off his over, they're absolutely comfortable with that.
Buzz in the crowd, getting louder as the evening goes on. 141 for 3, Glamorgan chasing 190. Hogan bowls, that's a wide. That is possibly the worst ball I've seen him bowl in 11 years.
It's a rare breed, though.
It just slipped out, I think. Just lollipop down the offside outside the strip. Don't recall having seen that before. Hogan misdelivering. Not to that extent. 142 for 3. 42-year-old Hogan. Familiar loping run in, and Chris Cook hits it straight to backward point, but hard, and it was slightly misfielded by Stewart, and they're through for a single. 143 for 3, so they got the 6 off this over with 2 balls left.
Just those, I think was it 10 balls where they lost 3 wickets?
Yeah,
I think that's the difference, isn't it? They haven't had that lull. Glamorgan have just kept on going at the same rate.
Hogan to Ingram, wide outside, off stump, and hit over point for 4. Well, Ingram had to reach for that one, but managed still to get enough power to get it up and over for 4. And that's his half century for Colin Ingram off just 24 deliveries.
Just keeps going, isn't he?
Old Man River.
Absolute class.
Keeps rolling along. 8 fours and a 6, thank you, Lauren, on the PA. 147 for 3, Glamorgan. Hogan into Ingram, punches it straight to backward point. Slight misfield, but no run this time. 147 for 3, so 10 off, and Glamorgan need 43 off 6 overs with 7 wickets in hand, which should be relatively comfortable, if anything is ever comfortable when you're chasing more than a runner ball.
Yeah, and Billings turns to Wes Agar here, which I think is the right call as well. If anyone's going to borrow a surprise delivery, a wicket-taking delivery in this Kent side, Agar looks the most likely, even though he's gone for runs for me.
Yeah.
He's just that, as I said, has that bit of extra pace, and they're desperate, aren't they now, Kent, to break this partnership.
Yeah, he's had a few, back of the lens, had a few that's bounced slightly. Could get a top edge, could get anything, you're right. Not that he's bowled very tightly, you know, he's 28 from his 2, but yeah, I think there's a wicket in there somewhere.
But otherwise, looking at this Kent attack and just feeling that Cook and Ingram are going to take a liking to them anyway. 147 for 3 at the moment, Glamorgan. Heavy favourites. 7 and a bit and over to win this one. As Agar bowls, and he's gone for 6. Well, there we go. Well, there's an answer. You turn to your overseas hoping, and Chris Cook has marmalised that one over cow corner for 6 runs.
There's a man who's in good form there. It's a reasonable delivery there. Slightly back of lane, outside off stump, and he's rocked that and pumped that halfway up the main stand down here. Unbelievable shot.
Yeah, it's looking much more like when than if now for Glamorgan. So 37 to win or 5.5 overs. Kent will have to take wickets, and they'll have to take them very quickly, and that's looking very unlikely. 153 for 3. Cook has 24. He's come to the party and just clips that one off the hip for a single. Well, they've got their runs. In fact, they almost had their runs with that one blow at the beginning of the overs. So unless Wes Agar gets among the wickets here, or someone does for Kent, this is going to be over very quickly. Ingram has 52. He shows no signs of departing very soon.
Forgotten people in all this as well. This has been a great wicket, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
Hasn't it? So credit the ground staff for its very gardens. Really, really good wicket.
Yeah, it's been good. You can play your shots on it. A little bit for the bowlers as well. Glamorgan as Agar spears the ball into left-handers' pads, but it's clipped away into the onside by Ingram for a single. He moves on to 53. As you say, shows how important that was. There's 3 wickets for 10 runs in 10 balls worth of Glamorgan mid-Kent innings, which just slowed the whole
Just
thing
that
down.
dip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And in a 20 over game, if you're losing 3, maybe 4, 3.5 overs of okay batting, that could be the difference in winning and losing.
You were saying at that point they may have been targeting 200 plus, at which point it puts a bit more pressure on it, but at the moment there is no pressure really for Glamorgan. They can go and run a ball more or less from here. So Agar bowls to Cook, steers that away. Will it be 4? That is a great stop.
Is that Billings? No, sorry, is that Bell Drummond?
It's Bell Drummond, yeah, on that side.
Brilliant bit of fielding.
Looked like it gone beyond him, didn't it? It's one of those stops. I'm not quite sure how he's done it.
It's an awkward bounce for him, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's bounced out. It feels like he's caught it almost backhanded on the boundary there, but he stopped 4. It's not going to make much difference, I don't think, at the tail of the tape, but a lovely piece of cricket. Agar goes back to his mark. Welcome to T20 Blast Cricket, Wes. This is taking a bit of tap today, bowling to Cook again. He's gone for the pull. Was it caught? No, just bounces before Bell Drummond. I wonder if he might just have committed to that and gone for it. Might have gone for 4, but they need wickets.
Did he not pick it up? It wasn't that far when he was stood still for quite a period of the time. He's 3 or 4 steps forward. He possibly could have dived onto that.
Yeah, we won ending up bouncing up near you.
Possibly didn't pick it out the stand,
yeah,
maybe.
Actually, he didn't move quickly towards it, did he? But it just looked as if that might have been catchable. Would have been a good catch even so, but 158 for 3. Kent looking for any kind of chance to get back in this game at the moment. It's Agar to Ingram, bouncer, and Ingram just doesn't bother with that, ducks underneath it. Dot ball to end the over, but Agar's 3 have gone for 39 so far. 158 for 3, and they'll need 32 more now to win. Will Glamorgan off? It is 5 overs, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Not much.
So batters having a little towel down, Kent having a little conference, but you know who is the happier of the two, and it's the home side at the moment with another masterclass from Colin Ingram, and he's got the required run rate down to just 6.4, barely more than a run a ball. So Hogan's going to have to pull out something spectacular. He did in a Glamorgan-Kent match back in 2014, conceding, I think, 2 or 3 runs off the last over, and it was tight.
I remember doing that with you, yeah. Brilliant bit of bowling.
But it'll be Stewart, so I thought they might go for another of Hogan. Glamorgan needs 32 off 30. Cook is 28, Ingram is 53. These two came together with a score on 82, so they've added 76 so far for this 4th wicket here on BBC Radio Wales, BBC Radio Kent on DAB, on BBC Sport Online and via the Glamorgan Club website as well. What has Stewart got up his sleeve? He's got a couple of wickets, expensive ones, 2 for 30 off 2. Chris Cook on strike, pulls down towards backward square, beats the fielder 4 more, and the run rate goes below a run a ball. Mike, the placing of these 2 shots has been quite incredible. They've bisected fielders so often.
Yeah, I think it's weird. It does look like that, but
no,
I don't think he would have placed those kinds. Certain shots you do, but I think a pull shot you're just trying to hit it as hard as you can.
Okay.
And I think he'll end up. But with the angle of the bowler around the wicket, where he's taken that, I think it just helps it on its way. There's no fielder in that area, and he normally actually hits it up in the air for his 6th, and he scoops it. But I agree. It just so happens that you end up in gaps.
I think with Ingram, sometimes you see him looking, I'm going to hit it there on the boundary.
With spin bowling, absolutely agree with you.
Stewart is in to bowl to Cook, who clips one off his hips to mid-wicket for a single. Cook to 33, 163 for 3. Morgan looking to make it 3 wins out of 4. In this, their first home game. They are away to Sussex on Sunday. I'm looking forward to more motorway miles. I don't know how the players manage it. I mean, I know they share the driving, but there have been a lot of miles covered already in this campaign, with Glamorgan starting with 3 away games. This their first home, then they're away again in game 5. 163 for 3, 27 to win, 4.4 overs left on the board. Stewart in from the River Taff end to bowl. Ingram pulls down to square leg. for 4 more, and it looks like Glamorgan are getting there in a canter at the moment. 167 for 3.
Yeah, when he's in this sort of mood, where do you bowl to him? What is a dot delivery to Ingram when he's in this sort of form? Absolute masterclass.
And welcome back to Radio Wales listeners with the news that Glamorgan need just 23 to win in 4.5 overs, and we're seeing another masterclass of batting from the pair who propelled Glamorgan to victory on Wednesday. Colin Ingram 57 not out, Chris Cook 33 not out as Stewart bowls wide outside off stump, and it's called wide as Stewart trying to hide the ball there. But this has been a quite superb display from Colin Ingram. 57 not out to add to his 92 not out a couple of days ago at Northwood against Middlesex. Chris Cook is slightly the junior partner this time. He's on 33 off 21 deliveries. Stewart bowls, that's wide outside off stump and top edge for 4 by Ingram down to the third man boundary. Well, if you bowl it that far wide, you're liable to get that sort of result.
Yeah, you don't deserve a wicket for that out there, and Ingram's played well enough to get a little bit of luck.
Glamorgan, it seems, a galloping home. We thought 190, while a gettable target might prove a demanding one. But with Eddie Byram hitting 43 off 19 balls, and now Ingram and Cook in full flow. 18 to win. 4.2 overs on the board. Stewart in, bowls to Ingram. That'll be a wide or no ball or something. Yep. It's a loopy bouncer, signalled no ball. Grant Stewart, well, he's picked up the wickets of Byram for 43 and Carlson brilliantly caught by Agar for 17, but he really has been expensive in between.
Yeah, well, what you will say, right, so take Hogan out of it because he's bowled very well this 3 overs so far. I'll wait to the end of this delivery.
Here's Stewart in again, bowls to Ingram, better delivery, driven up to long on for a single, 175 for 3.
So you've had Billings sort of changing his bowlers around, which has been great, and you know can keep the batsman guessing, but I've seen very little change up, very little different. Can we bowl around the wicket, can we go over it? I don't think I recall a slower ball from any of the seamers that have gone, you know, at 10, 15 and over. So if you're not changing up for the batsman, keep them guessing, you're making life quite easy for them.
So 15 runs needed for Glamorgan to win their 3rd game in 4. As Stewart is in to bowl to Cook, pulled away on the leg side, and he has found the gap at square leg. Their men out at mid-wicket and fine leg, and Glamorgan really are galloping home now. There were lots of runs off that over, 21 I believe, and it looks like we're going towards an early finish here at Sapphire Gardens, but not the trip down the M4 and the M25 and all the other motorways that Kent would have wanted, because Glamorgan need 11 to win and they've got 4 overs still left.
Yeah, it looks like a 3rd defeat in a row for Kent as well is looming here. Michael Hogan has been called back. Not much he can do now. He's been by far the most economical of the Kent bowlers so far. But I take your point, Mike, in terms of variation of what the seamers have done as well. They haven't asked many questions in terms of... So there's not been a great deal of variation. Hogan's bowled 1 or 2 slow balls, isn't he? But otherwise it's not been...
Yeah, you take
a bit too much.
Bar Hogan, I think the other seamers, I don't see much variation coming. I may have missed the odd delivery, but I don't feel that there's been much of a change up.
So it's 11 to win now, and Hogan bowls to Ingram, cuts that away out towards the offside boundary, leaning, stops it. So at 10 more to win off 23 balls. You can hear the clocks going when I'm trying to do that. 3.5, I think that's 23. It's around there, isn't it? And floodlights taking full effect now here, but the mostly home crowd here obviously will be very happy what they've seen so far. Been in fine voice and enjoying the boundaries as well. Hogan now bowls to Cook outside the off stump, takes it on the full and beats the field again, takes a skip actually away from Tuanda Maea, who made good ground around him, but once again beats the field at the bottom handoff to steer that through the offside. Oh, Trent to see it off the offside with for 4 runs and did so. 184 for 3, and they are closing in now.
Yeah, juicy wide full toss there from Hogan.
And that's a rarity.
100 stand.
184 for 3, 6 to win, and Cook faces it, might go for all of it here. Just 2 bounces though for 4, and 2 to win now for Glamorgan. They are very close indeed, and going to do their net run rate no harm at all either, as they still have 21 deliveries left. Nick Webb.
Yeah, it really is an incredible performance from these two batters. Century partnership to follow their 187 2 days previously. They must think they're unbeatable. Michael Hogan in with 2 to win to Chris Cook, who pushes forward defensively. Mock oohs and ahs from the healthy crowd here at Sapphire Gardens this evening, and this has certainly been the sort of performance that should bring them back on Wednesday and Friday of next week. Wednesday a double-header with the Western Storm women's side, Surrey the visitors here, Essex then Friday. Here's Hogan then, 2 to win for Glamorgan. To bowl to Chris Cook, wide outside off stump, a swing and a miss from Chris Cook, couldn't quite reach it. So just a matter of time really, and a matter of how much Glamorgan adds to their net run rate, which is quite often important in deciding who goes through into the closing stages, into the knockout stages, if teams are equal on points. Hogan, the final ball of his spell, in to bowl to Chris Cook, up in the block hole, driven to mid-off. They'll dash through for a single that takes the scores level then, with 3 overs left. And Glamorgan 189 for 3, cannot now lose.
No, it's been a really good performance from Glamorgan, isn't it, with the bat. They just look, the bat in hand, unbeatable. They just look so much confident. Stemming from these 2 men out there, the batters that come in before these 2 will know that they're behind us, but whatever runs we can add to this, we know, reassured that what's coming behind will be absolutely fine. So, look, there's bits they can improve on, but their bat in the moment looks brilliant.
It will be Wes Agar, the Australian paceman, to bowl the 18th over. Scores level, Chris Cook on strike. Short ball, Cook tries to pull it.
It's no ball.
It's a no ball, and Glamorgan have won. It's overhead height, and Glamorgan have won with 3 overs to spare. They reach 191 for 3. Chris Cook finishes on 46 not out. Colin Ingram is 63 not out. And a masterclass of batting from these 2 again. Mike Powell, you don't often get wins that comprehensive chasing a target like 190 to win.
Well, it just shows when you've got 2 big hitters like Ingram and Cook in form that they're just dangerous players and they can win games from anywhere. But just when they found themselves in there batting together, you just knew, get themselves in, get off the mark, get your first boundary, and all of a sudden that ball started hitting the middle of their bats. It was inevitable, really, this result.
It really has been a fine display of batting from these 2 as they Colin Ingram lifts his helmet to acknowledge the crowd. Eddie Byram got them heading in the right direction, Mike, with 43 off 19. Important little innings from him as well up top.
Yeah, he looks dangerous at the top of the order, doesn't he? Sort of free, shackles are off, and I'm going to play as many shots as I can to as many deliveries as I want. And yeah, if he gets going, which he did tonight, it's a dangerous man at the top of the order.
So a pretty useful Glamorgan top order at the moment. Maybe they need to look at the seam bowling department. Again, a little bit expensive tonight. The spinners did the work for Glamorgan in trying to restrict Kent.
Yeah, I think they are missing a number of players, obviously, from what this team could be like. Obviously, with call-ups and injuries and such as like. I'm sure other teams are suffering from the same issues. Yeah, this could be even better than the team they're putting out in the field at the moment. But take nothing wrong for the boys there tonight. They played really well, and they absolutely deserve this win.
So Glamorgan then victorious by 7 wickets with 3 overs to spare. They go on to play Sussex on Sunday. Matt Cole, some thoughts from the Kent point of view?
Yeah, this is going to be a really hard one to take for Kent. They've been battered out of this one, and emphatically against Somerset earlier in the week on Tuesday as well. Never really seemed to be in that game, and Surrey in the end were too much for them at the Oval as well. It's Surrey on Sunday, a 2:30 start there. Not sure how much they'll be looking forward to taking them on, but they want to put things right as well. There might be questions over selection, certainly whether Alex Blake should come into the team in the batting, and they'll be very much hoping that Fred Clarkson and Kane Richardson get fit to bring some of that variation that was Mike Powell was talking about in their bowling lineup as well. But yeah, a difficult result for them to take. I think at this point we'll say goodbye to BBC Radio Kent DAB listeners. Thank you very much for listening tonight. Sorry we couldn't bring you a win for the Spitfires, but we'll be back at 2:30 on DAB and online on Sunday for that game against Surrey at Canterbury.
And Mike, some final wrap up from you on the game as a whole?
Yeah, I think Kent suffered really from losing those wickets in the middle of their innings, which slowed them down. And what was a brilliant wicket tonight, and obviously a 200 plus wicket it should have been. And maybe at one stage we were looking at possibly just posting maybe 160, 170. So to get up where they were a 190, they probably thought that was safe, but obviously not. Formed Glamorgan batsmen in. How good this wicket was here tonight, and all these people who turned up to watch this game, which was quite a lot, have thoroughly enjoyed their evening.
And to talk about wickets, Mike, of course, we had an awful April, a bone dry May, and credit to ground staff for getting this sort of surface prepared for this game.
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier, and they're always highlighted when there's a bad wicket they play on, but I think they should highlight them when they produce wickets like this, which was excellent for T20 batting.
Mike, thanks very much indeed. That's the former Glamorgan and Kent batter Mike Powell. Kent 189 for 6. Tawanda Mayeye hit 62. Glamorgan 190 for 3 and 17 overs. 63 not out from Colin Ingram. 46 not out from Chris Cook, and 43 from Ed Byram. From Matt, Mike and myself, Nick Webb, hope you've enjoyed our coverage here on BBC Sport Online this evening. A very good night to you.